Oh, yeah. What's up, citizens of Gotham? Welcome to another very special Political Vigilante live in the All Things Comedy studio, but I don't think I can mention that because they don't want to have too many political shows. I'm going to just give myself a little more headroom. Look at that. That's how we do things here in the digital media. We have lockdown cameras. So thank you for joining the show, folks. We are live. It is January 30th, 2019, and I'm joined... 2020?
Yeah, dude.
All right, whatever.
Those apples.
If you want to believe that conspiracy. I'm joined by Ron Placone from Get Your News On with Ron at the Jimmy Dore Show, and Dave Anthony, ladies and gentlemen.
I'm doing one
From The Dollop.
Where's the camera?
It's... I love that you act like you were just in the studio earlier today. So you do the Dollop with Garrett. Tell everybody a little bit about the Dollop.
Dollop is a history podcast where I read stories from American history to Gareth Reynolds, who's never heard them, and it's propaganda. I try to turn people to the left. It's straight up propaganda.
It's straight up lefty propaganda. Mm-hmm. Well, tell Putin we said hi.
I will. He's really a big part of our show. I can't believe what he's done to America. Which was so great before him.
I know.
Everything was going great.
Everything was on the right path.
It was amazing. When Obama took us from 2 wars to 7, I was like proud to be an American.
Yeah, no. Obama came in and there was a black middle class, and then when he left, there wasn't a black middle class, and that kind of stuff's great.
It is really good. I mean, the 5.2 million foreclosures, I think, is something that is his shining achievement.
Oh, yeah.
At least for me, because my house is one of them.
I know.
Yes, it's so
and the great thing is he turned them all over to hedge funds, so that's important.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just remember how affordable college was in the Obama years.
That's
like,
right.
everything was fine, and it's just like, everything was totally copacetic. Like I graduated, and there were jobs everywhere, just everywhere you look.
Well, Obama's jobs program... Oh fuck! No, he didn't have.
Oh, that wasn't a thing.
He didn't have He didn't have a jobs program. But he did. He built pipelines. He gave people jobs doing pipelines.
That's right.
There's a good
And the thing I like about Obama, he swooped in and fixed stuff. Because remember Flint's water was bad briefly, and it's fixed.
Right. And he fixed that.
He fixed that.
He drank it.
Yeah,
he took us from third in global oil production to first.
Oh,
which is really great.
Now we're talking.
We're number one, baby.
He actually helped fund 2 coal power plants right there on the Great Barrier Reef.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah. So he did a lot of good stuff.
Are those the coal plants? Now, I know was those Tom Stayer's coal?
I know, right? I mean, I built them, but now I'm against them.
No. No, I'm gonna fix what I got rich from causing.
You know what I'm running on? Fuck me.
That I would actually vote for.
100%.
I'm a billionaire and fuck me.
What an asshole I am.
I'm the worst. I'm the problem. Vote for it.
When that last debate, my sister was texting me. She's like, I kind of like what this guy's saying. I'm like, I know. It seems like he seems okay, but he's actually a monster.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He bought his way on the stage.
Yeah, bought his way on the stage.
Why is Mike Gravel and Tulsi Gabbard aren't allowed to be on that stage? How come they're not allowed? Well, we know why. They're anti-war. They have anti-war.
Yeah, Gravel talked too much sense in 2008. I just remember 2008. I'm like, why aren't we all voting for that guy over there on the other side of the stage?
Why aren't we showing, why isn't there just a 24-hour loop of Gravel reading the Pentagon Papers on the floor of the Senate to make them a part of the permanent record?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, that's
That'd
Mike
be an
Gravel.
awesome loop. Another awesome loop if it was just him, like when he was on the debate stage in 08, pointing at everyone. It's like, you're all a problem.
Yeah,
that was the best.
That was amazing.
And they were laughing at him.
Yeah, they just mocked him.
They were the problem.
And they still are.
Yeah. Except Hillary. Hillary's good.
She's fantastic.
It's super good to have a woman who felt entitled to the presidency, who then totally fucking blew it by being lazy, not going to states, flying home every night, during the campaign to sleep in her own bed. And then she loses to the orange rapist. And she also can't have Bernie win because that means her legacy is double fucked. So she has to undermine Bernie because she can't have people who've been wrong about that. She has a double thing she has to do. She has to somehow get a moderate to beat Trump, and she cannot have Bernie win because that's a double knock against her legacy.
Wait a minute, though. The last 4 years, all she's done is admit all the problems of the corruption of the DNC and
Yep.
No, we talked about this on the last live stream. That's absolutely true. She actually, it would be better if Trump won than Bernie won
Yes.
for her.
Yes.
And even Obama's legacy too, because
Yes.
a Bernie win, which would be, if he gets the nomination, if he can get through the lies and the scams, Tom Perez just nominated a bunch of Podesta filthy crooks for the nomination committee.
Yeah.
He did that last week, which is just like
Horrendous.
If Bernie can get the nomination, he and picks a good VP,
Yeah.
somebody that resonates with people,
Yeah.
right? He will crush Trump,
Yeah.
and it'll say, Trump's Make America Great Again? No, didn't want it. Hillary, wrong. Obama's 8 years of nothing. It puts it all, all the neoliberal nonsense, all the corporatists, all the ruling class bullshit. It says you were all, the people actually preferred things that can help their lives, rather than slogans.
Yeah, basically. I mean, it's going to be such an ugly campaign.
People have no idea.
It has not started at all.
Not even close. So we talked a lot about in this show about who we think VP pick should be. We both say, well, I'd love it to be Nina Turner. She's kind of says she wouldn't do it.
I don't think it should be her.
I think I've talked about, I think Tulsi Gabbard would be a good pick, but you don't agree with that.
No, not at all.
Who do you think? Why not Tulsi, and then who do you think?
Look, I'm fascism is rising up all over the world. And I'm sorry, but her connections to Modi, it's not fucking good. That guy's putting people in fucking camps. That guy's a fucking monster. That guy's a monster. And that is the hottest place in the world. That is where if a fascist gets into power, which we now have, and then literally starts putting people in camps, which they have built. They have camps now for 1.3 million. They're trying to put Muslims in them. That's where all the riots are breaking out and all the shit's happening. And that's when you get a nuclear war between those two countries. Fascism against a Muslim majority country, you're gonna have. They already hate each other. They already fucking hate each other. That chicken dinner. She's way too much. The shit she says, it's way too. It's the talk of like, well, the terrorists are undermining people in Kashmir. No, that's not what's going on there. She's way too on the Hindu nationalism shit, and that shit is fucking scary. So I'm out. I'm 100% out on her right there.
Even with all of her anti-war talk. Okay.
Because sorry, all our anti-war talk does not jive up with what the fuck's going on there. If you're talking anti-war talk and then you're supporting Mussolini, you got a problem. You got a big fucking problem. Mm-hmm. And it doesn't jive with me at all. It is a fucking tinderbox. And her positioning and being close to Modi, bad. Just fucking bad. That guy's the devil. So that's my position on her. I checked out a while ago. See ya. So yeah, I mean, you guys like her all you want, and she's been saying too much shit lately. Like, we got to get along with the Republicans and blah, blah, and that's just not the tip you can be on at this point. Like, the Republicans are our enemy. They're fascists. They want fascism. They want one party rule. So anybody who says, I want to work with the other party, fuck off.
The thing I will push back on that for, and look, I had Peter Frederick on this show a year ago, who is, he now shows up at Tulsi events and protests because he's done all this research on Hindutva. I took a lot of shit for having that guy on the show, even though there's I've said a lot of positive things about Tulsi as well.
Yeah.
And that's always been my one question, and she's, says a lot of like, oh, disavow, I didn't know, and all this stuff. And if I were to interview her face to face, I'd say, okay, if you were president right now today with what Modi is doing right now, how would you react? I'd like to hear that question asked of her point blank.
Yeah.
So that.
Well, when she toes the line when they're talking about Kashmir, and she's like, well, the terrorists went in and did this and this. We know what the terrorist talk is. It's fucking generally fucking bullshit, and it's not what's going on in Kashmir. Kashmir is a fucking shit, just a shit party as it is. But when you start talking terrorism and stuff, now you're getting into the nationalism speak bullshit of how you crack down on people,
Yeah, and that's also too. That's a very, there's two sides, and each side just says the other side's wrong.
Yeah.
Without you can't, and they'll all give you chapter and verse.
Yeah.
Because I got all the emails from both sides when I had.
Oh, I'm sure.
When I had Peter Frederick on, I was called a racist.
Oh, I'm sure people are flipping out right now about what I said.
I'm sure.
Yeah.
The thing about her saying we need to work with the Republicans, the only thing I will say is the reality is, how do you if you don't control the House and the Senate, especially when the House is currently controlled by the Democrats, and they keep voting to give Trump whatever the fuck he wants.
Hilarious.
So I don't like I'm gonna work. I want to work with Republicans. I don't know. That just doesn't bother me as much because both parties are bullshit.
Well, okay. So here's the two parties to me. You have the Democrats who have a growing progressive wing, right? That's getting bigger and bigger. There's going to be more AOCs. There's going to be more. With each election, they're going to grow and grow. And then you have the Pelosi's and the Hoyers, the fucking nightmare
Schumer,
who aren't fascists, but they're the get along party, right? They're the guys who go, well, let's just keep everything going so I can have a nice house and keep my kids in school and get the money rolling in. This is all good. And then you have the Republicans who are quite simply fascist. They are fascists. They want one party rule, and even more terrifying, they got that religious aspect, and they've got a third of our army now are the fucking lunatic Christian oath keeper type dudes. They've been going into the army for years. They're all excited for a war. They want the Handmaid's Tale. So while I hate the centrist Democrats with a passion because they are enablers, they're enablers of fascism, and the Republicans are pure fascists. McConnell is a fascist. Lindsey Graham is a fascist. They want one party rule, and they want, military control. They're fucking terrible people.
Well, and they're able to be so because we have this duopoly that's owned by the same people. So we really have, in any other democratic experiment, the Democrats would be a center-right or just straight-up right-wing party.
They'd be right-wing.
So it's like we have a right-wing party and an actual fascist party.
We have an actual fascist party.
And you have to choose one.
You have to choose one. But then you don't, because... It's like people say, if Bernie doesn't win, are you going to vote? No, I'm not going to vote for anybody else because I think they all lead to Tom Cotton being president in 4 or 8 years. And now we're just in pure Hitler land. What's coming is a competent Trump. Unless you elect a progressive, you're going to get a very competent Trump.
Or an ideologue. I've talked about this before. Trump is just a narcissistic... I'm not saying he's not dangerous, but he's just a narcissistic cokehead, spoiled kid from the 80s. Mike Pence is scary. The ideologues are scary. The evangelicals are fucking scary.
Yeah.
And that's what's Trump is just like, I don't, and he just says, and he says some shit that actually, when he says it, I'm kind of glad sometimes when he's like, I'm just going to leave guys to guard the oil. Because the deep state people are like, shut the fuck up. You're supposed to say the flag and the freedom and the democracy.
Yeah, those accidents are always beautiful. Yeah, why don't we just give Medicare to everyone? Can't we just stop? You don't say that.
How are we doing?
Yeah, 9/11 happened when your brother was president. Shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up. So that's when it's like, you're right. Mike Pence would put the dummy any blue will do left to sleep because they go, well, he's not as bad as Trump.
The thing about Pence is, while he's scary and he's a Coke creation, him and Pompeo are the two big Coke creation guys that are the most powerful, but he's dumb. Pence is dumb. I'm scared about a smart.
Right.
I'm scared about a smart one. I'm scared about a smart, calculated Dan Crenshaw. I'm scared about you see them out there, and you know what they want to fucking do. And Trump has now created a path. He's set the roadmap up.
That Obama helped create too.
100%.
Yeah.
But now it's like it went past Obama in the sense that now it's just like lie, say whatever the fuck you want, say the most horrible shit, and nobody will care. So you take it to the extreme, and now you focus that, and now you've really got a Hitler on your hands, and we are. I mean, if you saw Abby's movie about Gaza,
Gaza fights for freedom.
Look, that's normalizing the slaughter of humans,
right?
And that can happen on our border. Like it's all super easy to do once you start normalizing it, and they're watching all this, and it's creating a roadmap for.
But let's go back to the original question then. Who do you think would be a good VP pick for Bernie?
I don't know. I can't remember the woman's name, but the union woman who is represents flight attendants is really fucking sharp. I really don't think it should be a politician. I don't think it should be a politician.
I like that. I never heard anyone bring that up before, but that's, we live in an outsider time.
Yes.
That's why Trump won. We live in this outsider time. People bought the snake oil idea that he was some outsider, and all he was instead of being the politician being bought, he was buying them. So only an outsider is going to beat him politically. Bernie's an outsider in many ways, but a VP pick that's a total outsider. I mean, that could be a really interesting approach. I don't have a name in mind for that either. But I mean, Nina Turner would be great, but she doesn't want the gig as far as
I don't know. Lately, I think she kind of said a little. She backed off that no way stance. She said something that was like it was a little cryptic, but it was like, well, I'm available for She said something that a bunch of people went, wait a minute now, is that Nina Turner saying? Because I think she would be a fantastic pick.
Yeah, she'd be interesting. I just think that, like, that's not. She's a fucking bulldog, so I want that person to not have a leash on. Does that make sense?
Right, because if she's VP, but here's the thing though, and this is why I would say I like Nina Turner, and why the thing I liked having Tulsi in the debates, and why
I love Tulsi in the debates.
She's fantastic, and how she's gone after Hillary. She's suing Hillary.
Oh, good, awesome. Hillary should be sued for what she said.
Well, the thing I liked was that Bernie is playing the nice guy who's just staying on message. He's just Medicare for all, college student. He just stays on message while Tulsi so this has been done in the past where the VP is the hatchet man.
Yeah.
So if you put it's up to the president. If the president can make the VP a nothing, or the VP can be fucking Dick Cheney and go, sit down, puppet, I'm going to call the shots. But somewhere in the middle, I think if the best way to do it, in my opinion, would say if Bernie picked Nina, was go, Nina, go. I'll be nice, Bernie. You go for the throat. You do the Sunday talk shows and go after everybody.
But more than anything, the VP pick has to be, because he's old.
It's got to be young. It's got to be a woman of color.
But it's also got to be someone that people can see can immediately be president.
Yes. They have to be able to look at that person and go, they could be president tomorrow.
And Cap's going to push for Stacey Abrams because she's a Cap person now.
Yeah. Well, the other thing, too, is we have to remember...
Oh, what about Neera Tanden?
She should run in the fascist party we were just talking about because she loves war.
She does. She likes Modi.
Yeah. She's profited from war. The other thing we always got to remember is, we're all in a little bit of an indie media progressive bubble, and the middle of the country, again, it's why, and I hear the Modi thing, and I'm not trying to fight on that, but why the Tulsi thing made sense to me, and still does to a certain extent, and why Nina Turner would make sense to me, is you have to get the middle of the country is not necessarily, they're still watching regular media, they're still watching polls, and also the independents that have checked out. So you have to get those people to, and I think Bernie's message has enough of that in it, because it's like, yeah, we need Medicare for all, we need jobs, we need student debt forgiveness, but you also need somebody that, like you said, is young enough, but also can help. And I'm not saying a right center, I'm not saying that at all, but somebody that can connect to working class people. That has been the Democrats' biggest problem, is they have disavowed working class people. They have shunned them, and they have done all. Yeah. So it's got to be somebody that connects in that way.
Well, and people who are, someone who can get people out who might not have voted otherwise. It's like, if you don't give me someone to vote for, I'm going to stay home. I mean, people who have had success with that, as far as the people in 2020, Bernie and Tulsi are pretty much the only two. And then I think Yang to a little bit of an extent.
Sure. Yeah, I don't think he'd be a good VP because you can't.
No. I'm not suggesting.
But I know what you're saying.
I'm just saying in 2020, those are the ones who appeal to.
He's sending his people Bernie's way.
I saw that actually.
Interesting.
Well, because I think the thing I liked about Yang is I didn't agree with him, but I'm glad he brought up UBI. Yeah. Just as a concept, his
UBI is really terrible.
Yeah, his UBI is terrible. But it was like nobody was talking about UBI until he was on, and that's good. And nobody was really talking about automation and why we would need UBI until he came in. That's our producer Aaron's hand.
So what's interesting? John Dean, the economist, was one of the only guys who said the housing bubble's coming.
Right.
He constantly says that automation's not a problem at all.
Really? He just says...
He says it's all bullshit, and it's not actually happening. And when we go to automation, it just creates jobs in other places that, if you actually look at the numbers, it's not a thing. It's not actually anything we have to be really concerned about. Which is interesting, because he's one of those guys I look to and I go, well, he called the housing bubble, he's called some other shit. I mean, I literally didn't buy a house because of him. I didn't get caught up in the bubble because of that guy. And he really broke it down really smartly. And he does the same thing with automation. He talks about it, and he's just like, it's not a fucking thing.
Wow, that's interesting. I'd love to see that. 306 people watching, everybody. Please hit the like button. And we appreciate you watching the show. Taylor actually is going to Skype in a little bit later, so she's not able to moderate. So the rules are simple. You can disagree all you want, but if you're starting being insulting, I'm just going to block you. If you can't be.
Sarah Nelson.
Sarah Nelson was. Oh, that's the flight attendant union. Ah, okay.
She's fucking smart.
That's what a union rep.
Speaker.
I love that.
Yeah.
I love that. I love the union rep thing. I think. All right, let's answer some questions. A. Mayers, shave your knuckles for justice. Thank you for showing us the light. I don't know what that means. We're winning this. Iowa has your back. Right on. Yeah, the numbers coming out of Iowa. I just saw a new poll. Bernie is now has even a bigger lead in Iowa. It's so critical. It can't be narrow wins.
Let's always pretend he is like 50 points behind at all times.
I genuinely think that we reached a point where people obviously want something different. They've been saying that forever, but they're literally looking at all the Democrats and just going, it's just all bullshit. I just think everyone. I mean, sure, there's always the group of really diehard Democrats who do follow any Democrat, but I really think they're just like, okay, yeah, we've heard all this. And it's all gobbledygook. And they start telling, I mean, Elizabeth Warren, her plans are just blah, 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 wonky, and that shit just fucking loses. Wonkiness is a fucking loss. You get into it, Bernie, and they go, he just says simple shit. Right, that's right. He says simple shit. That's right.
And it's consistent.
You're correct. And he says it over and over and over again. And yeah, that's how you win elections.
Yeah.
Oh, do you think did Trump get into some really deep fucking shit?
Oh my God.
Did Obama get into some deep fucking shit when he ran? No, hope. Like, fuck off. Just do a dumb fucking saying.
Hope and change. Make America great again.
I mean, it's not rocket science. You just say something and people go, oh yeah. And then people put whatever they want onto it and off you go. And you win a fucking election.
People respond to strength.
Yeah,
you know, like strength in your ideas. So it's like, that's why when you see Liz Warren changing her mind about Medicare for all every other week, when you see Liz Warren backpedaling whatever else, it's like Trump will crush her.
Crush. She lost the election when she reversed on Medicare for all. I mean, she literally dropped out of the polls. It was just like
it killed the polls, and that's why then she scrambled with this fake Bernie doesn't want a women.
And that backfired. That hurt. I know 3 people that were waffling, and they're like, I'm out.
Well, yeah, the polls showed it, but also all of us know all these people personally, and I saw people on social media. All of the people who were like, you know, Bernie's my number 1, Liz is my number 2.
Yeah, they were out.
They were like gone.
Yeah.
And at first I was mad, but actually the further away we get, I'm glad she did it because I was sick to death of the media saying the progressive wing of Bernie and Liz. No, nope, she's not.
She could be the VP pick, but I doubt it.
That would be awful.
I mean, he forgives everybody. He shouldn't. He's too nice. I've talked to people inside of his camp. He's too nice.
He shouldn't though, because she's. That would be an awful. Then Trump would eat that alive.
Oh God, she can't be on the ticket.
No,
that high cheekbone shit and
powwow chow.
Oh God, it's just so
powwow chow.
Did you guys listen to the Michael Moore podcast?
I haven't heard it yet. But
you gotta listen
amazing.
To it. Yeah, it's incredible, and you're just like, and what I appreciate it is he gave it from his perspective. He didn't play anything like he's like, I'm not some outsider anymore. I made it pretty big. These are the people in my circle now, and here's my experience. And he just went down one thing at a time.
Yeah.
Look, he's like, how did I let this slide?
I did the same thing when a couple of years ago I was like, she's really interesting, and I think she could be a good president. You know, but again, she's a compromise candidate. But you know, every single little thing, what happened when she stood up and applauded when Trump said, you know, we can't have socialism. Like, she has no idea how many people. You can't have a generation that is 50% of them believe in socialism as the way to go. You can't stand up and applaud when the president. It's so fucking dumb. It's like
what do you mean?
It's
what
like
are you
when.
About?
It's like when.
You are resolved that America will never be a socialist country.
So there's Trump standing. There's Mike Pence standing.
Chuck Schumer.
Stand. Look at him. Look in the lower cup. Boom. There she is.
It's just, they don't like, it's the same moment when the kid asked Nancy Pelosi on CNN, you know, what do you say to us? Half of us believe in socialism. Blink, blink. We're capitalists. Like, they don't know what to do with it. And that right there, she has no idea what she did. She lost so many fucking young voters when she stood up and applauded right there, because their worlds have been decimated by capitalism. How many fucking bubbles and everything is burst, and you're at a war forever, their whole lives. Like they're over. And so they don't get it. They literally don't get it. It reminds me of the day after the election, Greg Proops went on his podcast and he screamed and yelled at Bernie Bros for an entire hour, and his podcast was in the top 30, and the next week it was out of the top 100, and it never came back.
Yeah.
Know your fucking audience. Know what everybody under 40 thinks, or fucking wither.
Right. Or
That
just
guy
do a
blocked me
phone.
on Twitter. I've never had an interaction with him in my life.
He what on Twitter?
He blocked me on Twitter.
He's a fucking...
Never had an interaction with him. Never met him. Never had an
So many
interaction with him.
comics we used to be friends with.
I used to be really good friends with him, but God bless him for smoking pot for 40 straight years. It does a lot of good for your brain.
That's the other thing too, is you know, people that, you know, were like friends of ours, they're like, wow, they're in a Hollywood bubble too.
Yeah, it's been very eye-opening as a comedian to just see how people don't read.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that's all it is. I just think there's a lack.
Well, they read a meme and they read a couple of tweets and they don't do their own investigation and they don't like dig deep and go, wait a minute.
Yeah.
You know, what does this mean? They just, you know, the selective outrage syndrome, and then really blind. Look, we all got wooed by Obama, and we all woke up to that at some point or another. But you voted for him.
No, I didn't.
You didn't. Who'd you vote for?
Whoever the third party was. Or
Okay.
I didn't vote for anybody.
Yeah.
My wife literally came to me after 5 years and went, "You were right."
But most people, I voted for him twice.
Yeah, I mean, I was
He
Kucinich.
retroactively gave the fucking
Yeah.
data companies
Yes.
immunity. Right there, he showed his cards.
Yeah.
That was a month before the election. He showed his fucking cards.
So I understand. I remember he did that, and I remember on the campaign trail, I was like, oh man, if he's win, we're gonna have real green energy. He's gonna like put everything. And I saw him on a campaign stop saying we're gonna have wind and solar and clean coal and hydro.
Yes.
And I was like, what was that? What was the
Yes.
third one? And I was like, oh dude, come
All
on.
of the above.
I said, oh, he just, and of course he was in Pennsylvania or something, and I was like, oh.
I know someone who knows him and has known him for years. And in 2008, all he would say was, he's fucking empty. He's a fucking actor. Everyone's buying it. Wow. I've known him for fucking years. He's a fucking actor. There's nothing in there.
Wow.
Like he would
We
get
gotta
so
start
mad.
listening to
And
those
he's the
people.
only guy I know who knows him. And that's all he would say is, there's nothing there. We all put what we wanted to believe
Sure.
into something.
Dude, I gave him the benefit of the doubt for way too freaking long.
Way
I mean,
too long.
and in 08, I was Kucinich in the primary, and then I was like, all right,
Yeah, I was
Obama's
always
the guy.
Kucinich.
So I was like, I'm going to vote for Obama. And then the second time I was like, he's going to take his gloves off now. It's time. I voted for him
His
again.
second term now, he's going to get it done.
That's what I thought. Yeah.
Let's just
Which I want to say this, which is why I never bought Liz Warren.
Yeah.
When everyone's like, Liz Warren, I remember you and I talked about it, I go, nope. When I saw her in first of all, wave her finger at the Wells Fargo guy, and everyone passed around that clip, man, Liz is really giving him what for? And I was like, he got a $134 million severance plan. She did nothing. And then when she gave Trump $80 billion that he didn't ask for, I was like, I've been screaming for years, she's bad, and I'm glad people are like, whoa.
Well, she definitely reminds me of Obama. And I think people feel that.
A less charismatic Obama.
Yeah.
That's what we need. Boy, that'll help.
Well, she does selfies.
Oh. She hands the camera to somebody else and calls it a selfie. That's how in touch she is. That's how finger on the pulse Aunt Liz is after a couple. Yeah.
I really think every single Democrat except Bernie would get their ass handed to them by Trump.
Yes.
Agreed.
Who can beat him? Because all of the rest of them are just centrists. They're just a millimeter left of center Republicans. They're just pro-choice Republicans. They're the Republican Party of 30 years ago.
Buttigieg is straight up right wing. He's
yeah.
a fucking right wing. Biden's a straight up right wing lunatic.
Yeah.
Warren I would call a centrist.
Klobuchar is center right.
Center right. Yep. I mean, they're I don't know what they fucking stand for. I don't know what. And it's
Nothing.
We've been doing this for 30 fucking years.
I know.
You know what's good is I will say I've had a guy that I've argued with for since the middle of Obama, and he's a centrist. And I go to this movie night thing, and it's been going on for years, right? And he has been, he was staunch Hillary. I just thought I was insane with Bernie. And up until like 3 weeks ago, where I stood up at a game night and I was like, we can't do this anymore. You need to fucking stop. We've been doing it. When do I get to actually have a candidate that you don't like and you have to fucking vote for? Because that's been my whole fucking life.
Right.
My whole life has been voting for your shit fucking candidate, and now we have Trump. How about once you guys take my fucking candidate and you hold your fucking tongue and you vote for him? He's voting for Bernie.
Well, that's the thing we talk. That's so amazing, because that's the other thing, and it's just like, why do we? And this is everybody but Bernie in that dumbass Democratic field. Why do we have to make concessions? Why can't the fucking billionaires make concessions? Why can't a billionaire make a concession? And if Jeff Bezos gave up $75 billion, he would still have $76 billion or whatever, and he would still have a private jet, and he could fix homelessness. He could end it in Seattle today.
Oh yeah,
today,
America.
He could. God.
I mean, honestly, he could. He has so much fucking money. But it's not. Look, it's not just the billionaires. I mean, it's also the upper class, the top 10%, and everything else. I mean,
well, it funnels down. The billionaires have all the money and power, so they own the millionaire. The like all the celebrities, like who are like for all these centrists and everything. It's because you made $10 million. All the news media people get anywhere from $5 to $10 million.
Oh my God, their salaries are insane.
Rachel Maddow, all those people. It's like when Jane Lynch defended billionaires in the wine cave.
That's amazing.
Yeah, they're buying obedience.
Yes.
I mean, that's why their salary's that high. It's not because cable news is flourishing. It's a sinking Titanic. It's because they're just buying their obedience. And I love when people are like, oh man, sometimes the Bernie supporters are kind of pushy, like you talking to your friend. And I would always respond similar to how you did. I'd be like, yeah, the last time we had a candidate who represented our point of view on the ballot, 20 never. We never have had one. We finally do. So maybe
my
we're a little
83-year-old dad did when he was a kid and FDR got elected. Like, for real.
Right. Yeah.
For real. Like,
and also the idea that we can't elect leftists in the middle of the country is insane, because that's where populism originally came from.
yes.
Farmers.
Labor.
You just have to make the argument. They don't even try to make the argument. They just don't. They ceded all those places. They're just like, yeah, we can't do that. And they walk away from everything. Make the argument. And then the argument can slowly take hold again. And look, fucking Kentucky is where, fucking coal miners were battling the big companies. Like, there is a strong streak of leftism in all those fucking places. Reignite it.
Reignite it.
There's actual labor parties in places like Minnesota and Wisconsin, who didn't do so well in Wisconsin.
Oh.
Pennsylvania, my hometown of Pittsburgh, just elected 2 DSA card-carrying members to city council.
Yes.
I mean, it's...
Well, you brought this up, I think, on the last live stream in West Virginia, that voted for Bernie. The superdelegates gave them to Hillary, which was more... And then they voted for Trump because you pointed out, you have friends there. They never forgot NAFTA.
They didn't.
So
they don't. None of the fucking neoliberals understand.
They don't understand
how much NAFTA is hated.
Because we're college educated guys in entertainment. We didn't lose our jobs because of NAFTA. In the middle of the country, you did. You lost your job because of NAFTA.
100,000 factories since 2000.
Wow.
And you think someone supporting NAFTA is going to win? You're out of your fucking mind.
Or who was married to somebody who supported NAFTA and stumped for it, and then
and then was for the new ones.
Yes.
Like it's.
That's the thing. That's why I it's going to be nuts between now and July. It's going to be nuts, and I got to answer some questions here. But the thing I think we're all agreeing on is that Bernie can somehow pull this out. Bernie will go to the red states and campaign. Yeah. He went on Fox News. That Fox News town hall in April was amazing.
Oh, my friend Rick has his parents are Fox News viewers, totally right wing, and they watched it and they go, "I like that guy. I'd vote for him."
Yes,
like it's it's not rocket science. They've never heard the argument. It's like when Fox News would always put up the things that AOC stands for, and it's like healthcare, fair wages. Even the right-wing people are like, oh yeah, that doesn't sound.
And then they go, that's socialist, and they go, yeah, but those are
their
own Fox viewer polls are like, no, we like those things.
know.
And the Fox News people are like, did we no more polls.
Yeah, Lee Carter from Virginia was like, they're just doing our campaigning for us.
Yes,
at this
totally.
point. It's like, these politicians want to let your kids go to college. Like, yeah okay.
When in your lifetime has a Democrat come out and said, you know what, taxes are good, and here's why?
Yeah.
Never. So when people hear that argument and they go, well, it's working pretty good in Sweden and Norway, and you could just list tons of fucking countries it's working great in.
The other thing too is like Bernie's got. We talk about this a lot. Bernie's got Stephanie Kelton and his financial team. She's an MMT person.
Yeah.
So Bernie, and we've talked to some. When we were in Australia, we talked to some like MMT professors, and they're like, Bernie shouldn't bring up MMT because people get too. They're like, huh? What?
It's very confusing.
It's very confusing.
I've tried to follow.
It's a heavy pill to swallow.
It is a heavy
too.
pill.
Like in an election.
But
It's confusing. Yeah.
But Bernie is going to Trojan horse this because once he's in there, he's going to be like, we got the money for everything. How are you going to pay for it? It's like the Federal Reserve.
We printed it last week.
The Federal Reserve
questions.
literally just gave $6 trillion to Wall Street over the last 3 weeks. Now, we haven't talked about that because impeachment is so goddamn important. Anyway,
it's like when Obama left office and gave 500, was it billion or million? Probably 500 million to Blackstone.
Oh.
Because they needed it.
They needed it.
They needed it.
They're
because,
hurting.
Yeah.
They're hurting. They're hurting.
He's just a charitable guy. Helping those
448
grassroots causes.
people watching. All right, let's go to a couple. MT Unit, thank you for supporting the show. Beep. Sparky. Well, this might get you the big B, friend. Dumbass Dave wants Bernie to pick Amy Klobuchar.
Amy Klobuchar.
Yeah, that's...
She's literally the most clueless kid. I mean, she makes Biden look like he's got his finger on the pulse. She is so fucking lost and has no idea what's happening in this world.
She always looks scared, and then like I'm like, she says the most boring centrist things.
Oh my God.
She's like,
we can't do it. Let's barely do something.
Yeah, come on, everyone, rally around barely getting it done.
I know. I'm from Minnesota. I get what it's like out there. We shouldn't do anything.
Yeah.
Here's a folksy story.
My dad was raised in a cave.
Oh God! If I have to hear one more stupid folksy story,
oh, they're terrible.
They're so dumb. It's like I've said this before. We all had grandparents, and they all had jobs. And
they only needed one.
And 80 years ago, they only needed one because the cost of living was so goddamn low. None of them worked in tech in the 1920s. Like mine was a butcher. My grandmother was at school. Who gives a shit? They all had a job. Everyone's like, well, he worked in a shoe factory and now he makes oatmeal and whatever. Like, enough.
FDR put a lot of guys in power that weren't Harvard elitist types and didn't come from those power structures. And after McGovern, the New Democrats got rid of them all.
Well, yeah, let's not forget the Harvard Democrats helped ramp up the war in Vietnam.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, I don't want your Ivy League degree. I don't want it. I don't want you near me. You're a silver spoon. You've never worked a day in your goddamn life. Trump got $1 million from his dad. The Trumps, the Clintons. You are go away.
Yeah, except Chelsea. I really like her.
She's fantastic. She's great. You know, my favorite part is when. Ghislaine Maxwell, 2 years after settling out of court for being a pedophile sex trafficker, was at her wedding, and her dad, who was on Epstein's plane 26 times, brought her down the aisle. That's what I love about the Clintons. They're pedophile sex traffickers, and then Hillary Clinton...
Her dad?
Yeah, was on this plane 26 times.
No, but brought...
Chelsea down, and then there's the picture. Here, well, that's weird you ask.
It's Graham's desktop saver.
This is my desktop saver. Here we go. There's Bill. There's Chelsea. There's Ghislaine Maxwell.
Oh my God.
I don't know. She's worrying at that point about the settlement she just had to pay because she was a pedophile sex trafficker. Yeah, Virginia Roberts, she had settled 2 years after. That's 2 years after she settled. Yes. But I'm sure Hillary didn't know. And we're a bunch of sexist burn
Isn't it funny to look back and go, oh, he was trying to tell us something with Eyes Wide Shut?
Yes.
Isn't it crazy?
I got to rewatch Eyes Wide Shut because I remember when it first came out, I was like, well, this movie's a little weird.
I know. Didn't it just seem stupid? You're like, this is fucking ridiculous. And now you're like, he was, because he's way too good of a filmmaker to make a movie like that.
That's like dumb and doesn't make sense.
Yeah.
There's no way.
And now.
He said in an interview, the world is run by pedophiles. Stanley Kubrick said that in an interview, kind of just in a small interview with a small paper. And that started resurfacing when all this Epstein stuff.
So there's been studies that show that the more money you make, particularly when you get into the billions, you just start to lose empathy.
Yes.
And so I think it goes hand in hand where you know, then sex, just regular sex isn't normal for you. You got to start doing weird stuff. And pretty soon you're doing the worst stuff possible.
Well, I think something had to be there in the first place, though, because I think you have to have a severe lack of empathy to make that much. I don't think there's such a thing.
I think
I mean, you
hand in
can't
hand,
make $1 billion ethically. It's impossible.
but they have shown. I mean, I think it goes hand in hand. I think that you start making money, and then the way to make more money is to lose more empathy, and they go hand in hand. You know what I mean?
And then I think if you're, I don't know what creates a pedophile. I don't know. But if you were, let's say you were born with that, or something happened with that younger in life that you had that, and then you go, oh, well, I don't think that's wrong. So then I'm going to make a bunch of money so I can do it. I can get away with it. I mean, like when I interviewed a former child crimes investigator, he said, Graham, pedophiles are all walks of life.
Yeah.
Every socioeconomic, it doesn't matter. He goes, but the wealthy, powerful ones can get away with
everything.
And they set up, he goes, the rings I've uncovered, he goes, it was unbelievable. So when you read this, how could we have known about Harvey Weinstein?
Okay, so that to me, this thing, I can't believe that she said it out loud, because how can you have known? Well, I've known for 15 years, so how did you not know?
Yeah.
And how did Obama send his daughter to work under him? Like, everybody, and I talked to John Lovett from Pod Saves, whatever it is, who worked in the White House and was a speechwriter. And I was like, how the fuck did, and he goes, how would we know? I go, what are you talking about? Politics and Hollywood are intertwined. How the fuck would you guys not know? How would everybody not know? How would they not have vetted?
Right.
How are you not vetting any of these fucking people? I knew Harvey Weinstein was a rapist literally forever. Like Cosby, we fucking knew forever.
Yeah.
I can't remember the last time I didn't think they were rapists. And the fact that during her campaign she had him out there, I was like, he's a rapist. That was my first thought. You didn't know? Fuck off. Of course you fucking knew. Everybody fucking knew.
How could they not know? I mean, look, she was on Epstein's plane twice, flight logs indicate. They stayed at Epstein's compound in New Mexico numerous times. You really didn't know the whole time? You didn't know? Like, I don't know. We didn't know what Kissinger did in Vietnam.
So,
I just didn't know.
The comparison, when people see this picture, I always have to say, this would be like if a president, a new person running for the Democratic presidency started palling around with Cheney. Yeah. And then they go, oh.
Yeah, Cheney.
Yeah, no, that guy's pure fucking evil.
Pure evil.
I just can't. Like, I just don't understand what's happening. Like, literally, I'm just like, even just from an optics standpoint, why would you stand next to him? Like,
Well,
you have
I
to be
think it's
so
because
detached.
you're sexist.
You have to be so detached from, like, humanity.
Right.
Like,
all they care about is power.
Kissinger is just pure evil.
Look, Kissinger's pure evil. Ghislaine Maxwell's dad was in Mossad. Okay?
Yeah, I know, and she's
evil.
She's a procurer of girls. Like,
she was a pimp. She trafficked hundreds of women. Epstein's modeling agencies were all fake. I mean, like, this is the ruling class. I want people to understand this is the ruling class. This is who they are.
Well, I mean, you have Michelle Obama talking about how her and George W. share values.
Yeah,
they have the same values.
Great value
I mean,
system.
yeah, it's a club.
Yeah, but so what do you do about it? Like, if right, you know what I mean? Like, what do you? I mean, the Epstein getting killed in prison, and then all of the lapses, and it is like laughably insane. The camera's not working. The guard's going to sleep. Like, it's all fucking just like insane. So it's like, okay, so clearly I don't think it's a huge stretch to say Epstein was killed. I mean, I think most people are on board with that.
I have not met one single person that thinks he actually hung himself. Everyone's like, the CIA snatched him up and he's alive somewhere, or
I've heard that.
Or they murdered him. But no one thinks, oh, he was so despondent, they're going to get me, and hung himself with a paper T-shirt.
Yeah, no one believes the official story. I mean, it's like JFK times a million.
Yeah,
as far as nobody buys the official story.
But then everyone just goes, yeah, so what do you do? I mean, who was the BBC guy who molested millions of fucking kids?
Jimmy Savile.
I mean, it's the same thing. It's just like, what's happening? And how do you how do you put an end to that? To me, it's beyond reach. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that's what I mean. Look, I
because if Epstein was fucking kids, he wasn't alone.
Oh no, dude, the Epstein thing. Here's my take on doing all these videos about the Epstein stuff over the summer, and I'm still doing videos on them. And what is happening is the ruling class is being exposed for who they are.
Well, the internet undermines everything. It's why Bernie's popular, and it's why everything's like the internet is flipping the world upside down. But you're also at the same time you're also getting QAnon.
Well, which is so like it's a way to distract. But what I'm seeing is like the ruling class has been like pedophile rings been going on for like centuries.
Oh yeah, pedophile rings have always been.
It's been awful.
I mean, that, in before St. Francis of Assisi came along, the Catholic Church was just about fucking boys. I mean, It was making money and fucking boys, and he came in to stop it.
I mean, so this has been happening for a long.
They need another one of him to come back. I think they're due for another one of those. Actually,
yeah, that didn't take, I guess.
Lesson didn't stick.
But I think everything's finally getting undone, and the hashtag Epstein didn't kill himself, that got people like Lindsey Graham was asking reasonable questions of that woman.
Was.
Yeah, because we showed it here a couple months ago. They were asking the woman that was newly appointed as the Bureau of Prisons, and they were like, "What happened?" And Lindsey Graham, Republicans, Democrats were like, there's no way he didn't kill him. There's no way he killed himself. There's no way, like the Senate people Congress people were saying. So I was like, okay, it's starting now. Granted, they're very good at coming up with a new distraction. We're talking impeachment now. We're not talking about the war in Iran. We're not talking about Epstein. There's always some new distraction. But I think the answer to what do we do about it, I don't know. It is pretty daunting. But I think more people are just like, oh my God, the world, because here's what the Epstein thing did. It went, oh, it's not just Penn State. It's not just this one little Catholic church or this one coach. It's everyone. It's everyone that's in power.
Yeah,
and
all the people that he's photographed with and seen with and been around. I mean, it's astounding.
It's astounding. And Prince Andrew?
Yeah, and Bill Gates, and like they all travel in these circles, but there's also like, so the rich people just hang out with each other, and they honestly don't care about political affiliation and everything else because they don't get hurt by anything. Mm-hmm. I mean, all they do is make more or less in taxes. There's no actual harm to them. Meanwhile, people can be getting slaughtered left and right, and they don't care. So you wonder, like, did Bill Gates know, or was Bill Gates just there because it was rich guys hanging out? You know what I mean?
Yeah, and I've said that too, and I don't want anyone that hung out with Epstein is automatically guilty because some of it is just rich guy hangout, and he invited scientists to his compound.
Right, he was really into scientists coming in.
Right, and I'm sure many of them were like, hey, a rich guy wants to fund my thing, I'll go to his goddamn compound.
Sure.
And I don't fault them for that because of the system that we have.
Yeah.
But the ones that were like palling around and you start following the money and seeing who is who. And I think what's happening is there's going to be, we're at this tipping point. And I think there's going to be like a mass revolution of some kind somehow. And these next 7 months are going to be the craziest goddamn.
100%. The next 7 months are going to be insane.
Anything's possible. I just say that anything's possible.
I feel like this whole thing, for better or worse, like we'll all be talking about this for the rest of our lives. You know what I mean? Like it's like 2020.
If we're allowed to talk.
Well, that's it. Because either we're going to go, Remember how nuts it got? And then Bernie and the revolution, everyone woke up and things changed for the better and holy shit. And even though Florida's underwater, we still saved the planet. Or the rest of our lives is going to be about 9.5 years and we're going to go, well, we tried, and we're all going to fucking punch out. So speaking of that, speaking of trying, why don't you go to the super chat button, folks? This will help everything. Sparky, one more time. That's what he meant. Melissa H., Shave Your Knuckles for Justice. Thanks for supporting the show. Rules Committee scares me the most when it comes to Bernie. I'm not flipping out about what Dave said about Tulsi. She needs to denounce Modi. Yeah, absolutely. That's the thing. Like I've said, I have a lot of stuff about Tulsi that I like, but nobody gets a free pass on this show. I don't give Bernie a free pass in the fact that he calls Putin a dictator and says this dumb crap. Like, I'm like, you got to hold everybody accountable.
Yeah.
There's none of this my team nonsense.
And here's the thing about fascism. They learned from one another. The Nazis learned how to gas from us. They learned about eugenics from us. Like, people set up
and they learn
operations and they learn from each other. And Modi's setting out an operation that other people can learn from. It's all, and so are the Chinese, and it's all fucking dangerous.
And I think too, especially when it comes to people like Bernie and Tulsi and AOC, who I believe them to be like legitimate and they're not taking corporate money. You can actually say, I'm one of your supporters. Where do you stand on this? Yeah. Tulsi is in favor of pardoning Julian Assange. I gave her big credit for that.
Yeah.
Bernie won't come out and say that.
I know.
And Bernie supporters need to go, hey, Bernie, I'm a huge fan. You need to support this.
I feel differently. I feel Leonard Peltier, Assange, people like that. I say don't say anything until the election and then just fucking pardon everybody.
Oh, yeah. Hand comes off the Bible. They let them all walk.
I don't think you make it an issue, honestly. I think you just keep going and know what you want to do.
And I bet you that's my suspicion, is that Bernie knows if he comes out about it, then they're going to say, oh, WikiLeaks and you're with Russia and you're against.
Oh, 100%.
They'll all say
That's what they'll do.
It's just not a rail to step on right now.
And he sort of like hinted at things because he'll talk about the Espionage Act and how bad it is and how he's going to. So it's like he'll kind of dance around it. He just won't say something specific that could hurt him.
And I think it's our duty. These politicians actually listen to us. They have to, because they don't take corporate money. So we have an opportunity to sway them more in where we want them to go. Yeah. And I think it's because they've said it, and I take them at their word, because they don't take. You can't hide the money.
Right.
So if they were taking corporate money, you can't hide it, and we know how they vote, and we're all paying attention. And so we have an opportunity. I say, is anyone out there watching? You know, if you like Tulsi, but this Modi thing concerns you, bring it up to her. Bring it up and say, here's what's happening in India right now. What would you do if you were president? Because that's what these are the questions that should be asked. Not, can a woman be president? We all know a fucking woman can be president. Don't waste 10 minutes on that bullshit. Like, God damn it, that was a waste of time. Like, oh, all right. Sparky, thanks for supporting the show. Dave may be dumb, but he's right about Pompeo. All right, Sparky, thanks for...
Dave may be dumb.
Sparky again. Ask Dave what he thinks about Haspel and Abrams.
Haspel and Abrams?
Gina Haspel, I'm assuming, head of the CIA. She's the one who she flew around and watched people get
to see women getting into
It's so great. Power. It's so great because she used to watch people get tortured and waterboarded at CIA black sites.
You know, anybody who ran a black site should be in prison for life. You know,
but they're protecting our freedoms, Dave.
Yeah, the torture psychologist, and I believe she was a part of when they killed that guy by strapping him to a cold wall. Yeah, she should be in prison, but you know, this is the neoliberalism bullshit where they're all excited that a woman's empowered. The CIA is fucking evil. Like, anybody involved in that shit.
It's the diversity of the ruling class.
It fucking goes back to Obama not doing fuck all about these people when he got back in. You either correct the heinous war crimes or they keep going and they get worse.
Yeah.
And he was like, it's time to forget. You don't forget torture.
No.
You don't forget any of that shit. And then next thing you know, he's fucking, you know, shooting up hospitals for literally a half an hour. Like, it's... It just needs a massive correction, and she's evil. The CIA, she's
pure evil.
She's pure fucking evil.
The heads of all the major arms manufacturers are all women.
Yeah, but,
Diversity.
Yeah, I mean it's crazy. It's like Thatcher, you know. Oh, cool, you got a woman in power. Like, congratulations.
No,
Like,
she's going to nightstick union leaders.
you know, it's at the end of the day, it's mostly classism, and they were all brought up to not care about humans.
Yeah.
Or the psychopaths. I mean, if you're head of CIA, you're a psychopath.
You're a psychopath.
Yeah.
You're a psychopath.
Yeah.
And all the defense contractors, they're all war profiteers. They are profiting from the killing of poor people in poor countries, mainly brown people, mainly people of color. Killing them you're profiting from that.
Well,
That's why they didn't like Trump. They were worried he'd say something dumb that would like kind of screw up the system that they got going.
Yeah.
They want passive obedience from the president, and they've had it. They still have it. I mean, Trump's still passively obedient big time. But
he's blowing up shit left and right.
Yep.
Which is what all they care about, and he's all for that. Like, he'll blow up whatever.
And as long and look, the intelligence community is the permanent state. They're not elected. They're always there. They control everything. And if you want to stop war, you got to stop the intelligence community.
I still 100% think Hillary would have us in a war right now.
Oh, without a doubt, we'd be in Iran. Are you kidding me? We would have boots on the ground in Iran
Or Russia.
Well, of course. When I was in Moscow,
the protests about it wouldn't be as big. That'd be the difference.
yeah.
I mean, really.
They wouldn't. We finally we get to fight Russia. When I was
Why don't you just come to brunch? It's fine. They're the bad guys.
I think that I truly think that Trump did not invade Venezuela or Iran because he just doesn't want to deal with it.
Oh, I don't doubt that at all.
He just doesn't want to deal with it.
It's a hassle.
Yeah,
he can't go golfing.
It goes on forever, and he just literally doesn't want to deal with it.
I mean, when I was in Moscow in September, the pervading attitude was we weren't happy Trump won. We were relieved Hillary lost.
Yeah.
Obama was putting NATO troops on the Russian border.
Nobody knows what Obama was doing with NATO. Like, you're surrounding Russia with.
What do you think? How do you think they're going to react?
It's so crazy.
If I had 4 guys surrounding you, flexing, talking about wanting to punch you in the face, would you maybe be a little concerned about that? Like, and Hillary in her campaign was like, I'm gonna deal with Putin. I'm gonna take care of Putin. So Russia was like, oh fuck, they're gonna bomb us. And let me tell American viewers a little something about Russia that I learned. World War II is everyone has a scar from World War II there. They lost 20 million people. We lost 400,000. I have 2 uncles that fought in World War II. Wow. But it would be the equivalent of Ron's from Pittsburgh, and he remembers when they bombed Pittsburgh and froze it out, and 3 million people died. And remember when San Francisco was overrun and your grandparents died, and they bombed Chicago. That's what everyone in Russia. That's their story of World War II. So when they hear all this war talk from a country that outspends them fucking 10-1. They were like scared.
Well, that's the interesting thing is what neoliberals don't get at all, and Democrats is that we freak everybody out, and they don't understand.
They don't get that.
That was the thing that when Adam Schiff did his little speech about how great America was, and I was like, this is just insanity that you could say this, and I got blowback from some comedian liberals, and it's just like, people go talk to people in other countries. Like, they're not down with what we're doing.
They're terrified.
We're out of our they're literally like, you guys are out of your fucking minds.
Well, I think it's like when Oliver Stone did the Putin interviews, and he talked and Putin brought up this stuff. He's like, look, you guys surrounded us, and this is all. He's like, who's intimidating who here?
I know.
And that doesn't mean Putin's a great guy. He's not. But that's what's happening.
Look at a map of Iran. There's bases all around it.
Look, Putin is a fucking terrible dude. Mm-hmm. So are the Koch brothers. The Koch brothers are
exactly.
The Koch brothers are far more dangerous. They're literally taking over our judicial system, which is the end of your country, because that's fascism. Once they take over the judicial system, it's done. You're fucking done. Yeah, it's wrap it up. And that's their third step in their fucking plan. They were raised to bring back the Gilded Age. They've fucking done it. And now they're taking over the courts.
But Putin cheated with steroids.
We have much bigger fucking problems to deal with.
Oh, I know.
Because of guys that are Americans.
Yeah. Yeah.
Just straight up. And Putin's, have you ever seen hypernormalization? I mean, Putin's a fucking genius when it comes to propaganda and just doing the craziest shit. Like, it's almost an art form. Like, it's masterful how insane he makes things.
But also, like, Putin said in an interview last year, he goes, look, I know we're all talking about climate. He said to the European press, there was no U.S. press there. Mm-hmm. To the European press, he goes, look, I know we're all worried about climate change. The young people are, and they should be. It's a serious issue. But let's talk about this nuclear treaty ending, because if nuclear war means life on Earth's over, this is a real threat, and we don't want this. Putin was like talking peace.
Yeah.
And that would never, not a second of that was going to make it on American TV.
Yeah.
And it was like, because he's, again, is he a thug?
He's a horrible dude.
Obama was horrible. Obama dropped 26,000. He dropped more bombs than Putin. Like, Obama dropped 26,171 bombs in 2016 alone. How many people did he kill?
It's very hard. So my wife's a psychologist, and I was talking to her once, and she had a client that was totally freaking out, and it's like, well, to survive in our world, you have to block some things out, or you would go crazy. Like you can't Obama, to you, because he's your president, he can't be as crazy as Putin.
Right.
And yet he killed so many fucking humans, children, women, just civilians, so fucking many.
Brown people set on fire in the Middle East.
Go read about when our troops shot up the Doctors Without Borders hospital in Afghanistan. It went on for half an hour, and they left after 15 minutes, and then came back and started shooting them up again. And then they did it to another hospital. It's evil. But people can't see that from our side because they voted for him. But it's evil. And they can't look at Obama and go, that person's evil. But his acts were evil.
Evil. But his tweets were nice. It's
Some
like,
folks, hey, these folks.
The thing I say, I go, America is like an abusive home. And it's like, America doesn't want to believe it. It's like if you found out, your Uncle Joe or Aunt Sally were pedophiles or serial killers. There's a part of you that would go, nope, no, they're not. Nope. I remember we went to the park as a kid. They were great. No, I don't want to deal with it. And that's what America is doing.
Well, and when you keep people afraid about a foreign boogeyman, it's way easier to not notice the domestic one. So a quick, for instance, I listened to this NPR piece about, what's going to be happening with the election coming up. And, I don't know if you guys saw this. Here in California, we're going to use these machines that have never been tried before. They have failed multiple times. We have no idea if they're going to work. And we're like, we're going to do it. We're going to do it.
It's really crazy.
It's insane. In Iowa, they're dealing with a similar situation. Now they've come up with an app. This is a DNC app. It goes on your phone. It has access to all your information.
Who's overseeing it?
DNC.
No, who's the guy?
Oh, I'm not sure. Who?
Robert Moody, Hillary's guy.
Oh, okay. Is that the
he's trustworthy.
Is it Mook then?
Mook.
Okay, so it's Mook.
Robbie
I didn't realize
Mook.
it was actually
He's
Mook.
overseeing it.
Okay, I didn't realize it was him directly. But so he's overseeing it. They're telling you nothing. And then when people were like, well, why can't we know more about this app? They're like, well, if we tell you anything, Russia might be able to hack it. So that's what they're... And then they're just like, well, this machine, it might not work, but Russia won't be able to hack it this way. All these insane domestic concerns about voting machines, but they're like, well, Russia can't. And it was just an unbelievable segment.
I miss the good old days when, during Bush's second election, when the voting place in Cayuga County just shut down for 4 hours.
I remember that.
Do you remember that?
I do remember that.
So we were all waiting for one place to tell us, and it was literally the deciding thing, and they were clearly just counting all the ballots to see which way they could flip it. I mean, it was the most ridiculous, blatant thing. Like the first Bush election was crazy, but the second one, you're just like, well, everybody's watching this, right? It's 4 hours now, and it's just one building. No one's got eyes on it. Like, it's just crazy. It was fucking insane.
Our system is so archaic.
And then all these fucking electronic machines without receipts. You can't
There's 14 states that don't have paper ballot. 14.
That's why when you're screaming about Russia, you're just like, hey, it's really fucked up here.
Yeah.
It's really fucked up.
Putin just keeps getting elected. Well, I don't know. They probably got paper ballots. I don't know. Melissa H. What about Tammy Baldwin for VP? She's progressive. I don't know much about Tammy Baldwin. Do either of you?
No.
I don't know much about her, Melissa, but I'd like to know more. Sparky, shave your knuckles for justice. Indian Americans are a more significant voting bloc than dumbass Dave realizes. Yeah, Sparky, you're being kind of a cunt, so I'm not going to stop.
What was his point? It's funny that I want to know why he thinks I'm dumb. But
Mike Pompeo, Haspel, and Abrams are shit. Vote for Tulsi. Oh, you're just a Tulsi supporter that's mad that we were critical of her? Sparky, that's getting
Hey, champ, guess what? Some people don't like your fucking your candidate. Get over it, bitch.
Yeah, it's going to happen.
I mean, Jesus Christ. By the way, the Tulsi people have been the worst to me online. I've just been like, guys, you asked me, because they would come out and go, do you support her? I'd be like, no, I'm not actually supporting her. And they would just lose their shit. And I'm like, no, I get all your fucking points. I've chosen not to pick her as my candidate.
The thing I've said, Bernie, Tulsi, you want to disagree, great. You want to point out, that's fine. The crazy, and I've seen Bernie people flip the fuck out over Tulsi people and vice versa. There's no reason for it. Let me tell you something. The ruling class loves that the left real progressives are fighting with each other.
We always do.
It's like, it's okay. It's okay to say, I like Tulsi a lot. I'm voting for Bernie.
Yeah.
I only get to vote for one candidate. We don't have ranked choice voting, so I'm voting for Bernie.
Right.
And he's going to win California.
Well, it's just like, don't be a stan. You know, it's like you have a candidate, and I'm voting for Bernie too. Is Bernie perfect? No, of course not. You know, and when he does something I don't like, I'll mention it. I'll talk about it. You know, same with Tulsi, same with anybody else.
Yeah. If Bernie does anything we all don't really like, we're going to be very vocal about it. I'm not going to go, well, he's my guy. No, I'm not. If he becomes president and goes, oh, we need to invade Venezuela, I'm going to go, fuck you.
Yeah, I know.
I'll go nuts. I will go goddamn nuts.
Yeah.
And this early in the game, like, Iowa's Monday. So settle it down.
Is it Monday?
Monday, February 3rd.
Oh, man, that is Monday.
Day after the Super Bowl. The networks aren't trying to hype this up at all. AC, UBI's feedback loop, pay taxes, get money back. Thank you so much for that. Sparky, no need for capitalists to fear Bernie because as Burlington mayor, Bernie stimulated bourgeois small business, tourism, and got them a baseball team. Okay, thank you. Sparky again.
Baseball is one of the smartest things that Bernie is doing. Because all these minor league teams are being shut down, and Bernie's going around to those towns and saying, "Hey, you got to keep this baseball team," and that is fucking smart politics.
Well, it goes back to the labor thing we talked about. While it is smart politics, it's rooted in who he is and his policy. Because small town minor league baseball is small town business.
Yes.
That's small town America. We've been to those towns. I've been to single A and double A baseball games. They're a blast.
They are.
And the whole town comes out because that's all they've got.
Yeah.
LA, we've got 10 professional sports teams, right? So in these small towns, that's all they've got. They've got the high school basketball team. Maybe they've got some little college, maybe, and they got minor league ball. And it's awesome. Minor league baseball, a lot of them are independently owned.
Yeah.
It's great. It's great for the community. And so the fact that he's doing that is like, this is how you do this.
Dude, all that stuff's awesome, man. I mean, minor league hockey,
yes,
it's a freaking blast, especially when it's a feeder team and you wonder if you're going to see someone in the NHL the following week, you know?
I went and saw the Bakersfield Condors or something like that last year. I've seen them a couple times because the kid I'm a big brother to lives up there. And they're an Edmonton team. So Edmonton just didn't miss the playoffs. So then all these NHL guys come down. It's fucking, they won 7-0.
Nice.
It was unbelievable. And you're sitting, we were 15 rows off the glass for $10 or something like that. Like, try to go to an NHL game. It's
crazy.
Any major league sport's expensive. And then that's the thing about my
actually, if the Kings keep doing bad, price, I got Pence Kings tickets for $20. I was pretty happy about it. So
Sparky again. Instead of jail, Obama bailed out robber barons. Oh, that's a good one. Robert Gilbert, Shave Your Knuckles for Justice. Best analysis I've heard in weeks. Chris Matthews ain't got nothing on you guys. Thank you, Robert, so much.
Chris Matthews is officially insane.
Yep, they've all gone. A lot of these, I remember listening to Rachel Maddow on Air America like 15, 20 years ago, and I was like, oh, yeah, she's...
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, she was...
Dude, back in the day, I was like, Rachel Maddow is the diamond in the rough. And now you hear her and you're like, oh, that was rough. You know, like, it's totally different now.
I just think, I think with anybody, you know, you just get sucked in and then you're in there for so long, and all of a sudden Roger Ailes is your friend. And, you know, I mean, it's really astounding. And then, like, I haven't watched cable news in ages. Every once in a while, I'll be flipping channels and I'll see something, and it's just like watching an alien world.
It is.
It's really crazy.
I watched The View and they were like, boy, Liz Warren really cleaned up that last debate. And I was like, but that's the same thing. And they want you to think this is a diverse panel. It's a panel of millionaires.
Yes.
That all work for billionaires.
Yeah.
That's who they are. It's unreal.
Well, it's another thing. Talk about talking to people from other countries. Talk to people from other countries about our news.
Well, that's what I love.
That's the best. When they're just what is this?
Yeah, like my favorite is when we're like, well, we're talking about going into Iran. Let's talk to a white guy who's in the army. You're like, what about an Iranian?
Yeah.
Are there not Iranians around that you can?
Oh,
talk
here's
to?
an intelligence expert. Who now works for a defense contractor?
And they never reveal it. They never reveal it.
And all they do is they show some stock footage of Iranians burning an American flag.
Yeah.
See?
Yeah.
We gotta go.
There's a journalist who pointed out that they always use. I guess there's a mural somewhere, and they always use the picture of. It's like a flag or something, or someone in some sort of Middle Eastern dress, and it's like used in like 80% of photos about Iran. Like they're just like, there's the mural.
Well, even when the Soleimani thing happened, like they were just like, Iranians are celebrating the liberation, and it was like 10 people jumping up and down. We don't know what they were jumping. It was just they're like, see, it's like
they did that when 9/11 happened. They showed people celebrating. This woman feeding, like giving people cakes, and everyone's celebrating in the street. And they're like, they were celebrating on 9/11. That was footage from when, in Kuwait, when we liberated Kuwait.
Oh, yeah.
They took footage of people celebrating Americans liberating their country, and they said, oh, here they were celebrating 9/11.
When I got arrested in the first Gulf War, 91, 92 or whatever, I was in Santa Barbara in college, and I got arrested. And on the news, they showed us being arrested. And then they had a superimposed Iraqi flag afloat, like waving. I wish I could have taped it back then. But it was like me getting fucking cuffed, and then you could see the Iranian flag.
Dave Anthony. Good old Baghdad Dave is here on the show, everybody. Saddam's right-hand man, Dave Anthony. That's how he became a comedian and a podcaster. It was all that bath party money. Robert Gilbert, thank you for supporting the show, Robert. We just did that one. Sparky Buttigieg is the intelligence community's candidate. Yep,
yes.
He was a former Navy intelligence officer. Former, I put that in quotes.
He just reeks CIA. He also has the eyes of a psychopath.
Yeah, he does.
Yes.
Yeah, there's something very kind of like, whoa, about that dude.
Yeah, that dude is off.
Like even the first time when who was it? Was it Bennett or whoever it was in that debate that was like, why didn't you fire the chief? And just the look he gave that dude. There was like a side profile moment.
It was
scary, man.
His hands
He
were clenching.
clenches his hands.
He was like, his hands were clenching. They took a side photo and he's like making fists. Like it was really crazy.
And then he tries to talk in that like he's been coached in folksyisms.
Yeah.
And he will do anything to be in power.
Anybody who has wanted to be president since they were like 5 or whatever, which is what his friend said, it just freaks me the fuck out.
Yes. You want someone that's like, I don't want to do this. And you're like, and people go, no, you're the best guy for this. I don't want to do. That's why you should be president.
Yeah.
You don't want to do it. Bernie in 2015 ran around the country going, somebody run against Hillary.
I know.
And Liz Warren, you do it. And people go, you do it. And he's like, I'm too old. I'm a crazy socialist. I'm a hippie, and I'm an independent.
You see, I mean, you go back to, everybody wants to go back and see when he announced. It's just like him just being like, all right. And he clearly doesn't think anything. He doesn't think anything's going to happen. He thinks it's going to be a Ralph Nader situation. And it just fucking snowballed.
I know. And he was like selling out stadiums going, oh, Jesus.
Yeah. Liz Warren would have won.
Of course. I would have voted for Warren.
Yeah.
If she ran against Hillary, I would have voted for Liz Warren.
It's just so astounding that all the female Democrats got together and signed an oath that they would all back Hillary and not run. Like, what are you fucking thinking?
It just shows you how weak they are.
Yeah.
It shows you how weak sellout, pragmatism, centrist Democrats are. You have no guts. You have no leadership ability.
Yeah.
A leader goes, I'm doing this. Look, it's the right thing to do. Bernie says, I guess it's the right thing to do. No one's going to vote for me. I'm going to get 6 votes in Vermont. but I'm doing it because it's the right thing to do because I've been saying the same things for 3 goddamn decades.
Yeah.
Liz Warren, well, let me change my nationality to steal a college scholarship from a Native American woman. The height of white privilege.
Well, and it shows you how dangerous and toxic the Clinton dynasty is.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like we're still feeling the effects of it because it gave us Trump. I mean, that's really, when you trace the footsteps back, that's what gave us Trump.
And in all fairness, you got to wonder how many of those female candidates were either, well, first they were like, we'll promise you a cabinet position.
Yeah.
But how many of them were like, hey, here's this envelope of you doing this whatever in college. You're not running against Hillary. Like, because that's how the Clintons play ball.
Oh, I know.
You know how they play. They play evil ball. So how many people did they just go, we'll kill you. We'll you know, somebody got their fucking puppy nailed to their wall and said, don't run.
When
you know?
Gillibrand came out against Clinton and said, you know, he was a sexual predator, the Clintons lost their shit. And a friend of mine was at a dinner, and there happened to be 2 Clinton insiders there. And they were like, he said it was insane. They were like, we're going to fucking destroy her. Like, he was like, this is like...
They're crazy.
Like crazy.
They are evil. They are pure evil. That billionaire ruling class and the Epstein thing, and Trump's not, he's connected to that shit
he's
too.
Adjacent, yeah.
There is a pure evil in that. Because it's not just like, oh, you know, my sexual proclivities kept getting crazier and crazier. And no. They systematically have mapped it out. They sat it down, and just the way the Nazis went to a nice castle in Austria and had a really good dinner and figured out, you know, ovens and trains and all that other shit. These people are sinister. The Clintons are the worst thing that has ever happened. They have run their whole careers a millimeter to the left of the fucking Republicans, which is the most cynical. America's so dumb, we can get away with this. And they're just the most they're the worst people. They've done the worst things.
Yeah, it's kind of amazing how people, well, the coastal peoples just don't understand how bad the Clintons are.
And the thing is like the Republicans and some people come up with crazy conspiracies about the Clintons.
Well, that's the fucking problem. And that was always the problem with Obama.
Right.
Is you couldn't critique him because someone is like... got some crazy fucking
Long-form birth
conspiracy.
certificate
You literally
bullshit, yeah.
can't have an argument with anybody because it's fucking insanity.
Yeah.
And you're like, well, I don't know how to talk about this.
I know the Clinton conspiracies, I don't want to hear them.
Yeah.
I will just give you facts. I will just give you all the stuff.
NAFTA, the Telecommunications Bill of 1996,
putting the black men behind bars,
welfare reform,
Glass-Steagall, repealing Glass-Steagall,
I mean,
like on down the line. And even the Epstein stuff is not conspiracy. I'm talking about flight logs. I'm talking about staff members seeing them in New Mexico. I'm talking about who was just at their wedding. I'm telling you, that's what I'm going off of.
Well, and look at what their circle gave us. You know, Al Gore, who, well, he technically didn't lose in 2000, but nonetheless, it got handed to George W. Bush. You know, we're still feeling the ramifications of that. I mean, it's all the way the Clintons just brought down the Democratic Party.
Yeah, if Al Gore would have been a real leader and ran a better campaign for starters, and is the true environmentalist that we think that he is, imagine if 9/11 would have happened on his watch. He potentially could have gone, okay, that's it. We're not using foreign oil anymore to make America safer. And we could be going, man, remember when we used to have gas cars?
Yeah.
And now the planet, we wouldn't be talking about the climate collapse. We'd be like, oh, it's actually the new studies out. We've improved it and the ice caps are back. And like we would be having all of this stuff. But no. All right, they're the worst. Jameson, don't shave your knuckles for justice. Graham, get my email on Fusion. Also, thanks for having Dave. I did get your email on Fusion. I've skimmed over it, and I'll talk about it some more. I'm still, it's very nice, compelling, well-read email. You're not going to get me to turn to nuclear power. It's never going to happen. But well, I'll look it up. I'll give it a shot. I'm just telling you, that's where I'm coming from. It's like, our producer is a Cardinals fan. I'm a Cubs fan. I'm never going to like the Cardinals. It's never going to happen, but I'll read your email.
There's been some significant improvements.
Okay. Fantastic. And how many people died when a solar panel didn't work? Sparky.
Yeah. You need to do both.
Sparky, monopolies and trusts need breaking up. Thank you, Sparky. Sparky, again, Fox News is controlled opposition, fake news.
Is Sparky the one that called me a dumbass?
Yes. Sparky, hey, look over there, a shiny object impeachment. Okay. I appreciate the super chats, but look, you don't get to, now the insults have subsided, because if they continue, I don't give a fuck how much money you spend. If you're going to be a cock, I'm going to block you. Cock block. I just made that word.
Here's the thing about impeachment. It should happen. It should always happen. We should always be impeaching presidents. The presidency should be abolished. So I'm all for impeaching constantly. I mean, the real problem is that the Democrats are corrupt, so they can't actually impeach for everything they could impeach him for, because it indicts them as well as it indicts him.
That's why they didn't impeach Bush on lying into the war in Iraq, because they all lie for war.
But the best thing that could happen with impeachment is happening, and that's that the Republicans look crazier and crazier, which they are. It's very simple. He clearly broke the law. It's very simple. It's not like a crazy conspiracy. It's just shit that's out there. We could have a guy that could testify who's inherently an evil human being who will testify that he broke the law.
John Bolton.
So the more that they stop that from happening, the more Americans in the polls want to hear everything. The polls say they just want to hear it. Mm-hmm. They're not down for the don't let it happen stuff. So it's the best case scenario. Best case scenario is Republicans don't let witnesses come in, shut it all down, and walk away. That's the best case scenario.
Doesn't it though? Because the Republicans, my problem with impeachment is the Republican Senate's never going to make it happen.
Never. Great.
So what it does is then Trump goes, just like the Mueller report, they couldn't get me. They're lying. They don't have it.
But that's to his followers. But there's a lot of people out there who aren't his followers. So his followers are never going anywhere. They're locked in. They're not changing, and that number's not going up. It's just he's at his ceiling. He doesn't fucking shoot up. All that can happen is for him to win an election is for Democrats to not vote. That's the only way he can win an election, which is easy to do if you have a Biden or whatever.
Yeah.
So his numbers are, his numbers are just there.
Automatic loss. He's so bad, Joe Biden.
Huge numbers of Fox News viewers are watching. Huge number, like the biggest network of people watching are Fox News viewers, and they're seeing the crazy. And a bunch of Fox News viewers are not Republicans. They're like 40% of them are Democrats because it's the only channel they can get. Mm-hmm. So they're watching this shit, and independents. And the more they see, like, why are we not? I'm an American. I watch Law and Order. Why aren't the witnesses talking?
If he's so innocent, why can't we have everybody talk?
It's going to be very apparent. It's going to be super apparent. And I just think that whatever. I get it. It's a distraction, but whatever takes the veil off the fascism, whatever shows the fascism, great.
Yeah, the thing. Yeah, I hope you're right, because to me this seems like this is another distraction from all the stuff we talked about, Epstein, Iran.
Well,
not just that.
I think Epstein's gone. I don't think it's coming back. I think it's
they just probed. The FBI just did a probe of Ghislaine Maxwell, and then Prince Andrew just said he has refused. They've tried to contact him and he won't talk to the FBI, and he's saying, "Oh, I've tried." Like he's.
But who's going to make him? No one.
Right. But that's the thing. He technically, he has no special protection because he's in the royal family. He's just a British citizen, and the FBI can absolutely question him. So if he continues to duck this could become a bigger thing. The thing you laid out, I hope you're right. It's not about me being right or wrong. It's about, I really see this impeachment as a distraction, because the Democrats they've signed on to extend the Patriot Act. They've signed on to give Trump more money for the war budget.
Yeah.
They just buckle to him at every turn. Yeah. And this, to me, now maybe the tide is turning, but a couple weeks ago I was like, well, this is making the Democrats look bad.
Yeah.
They were, because all they were doing was
it doesn't make Bernie look bad.
Right.
And so at the end of the day, it's not just making the Democrats look bad. It's making the Republicans look really bad. They look really bad. I mean, the Republicans look worse. Just from reading, I'm not watching any of it, but I skim it at the end of the day and I go, okay, that's interesting. They did this and this and this. The Republicans are looking really bad, like comically,
just lately, because
comically ridiculous.
Because they won't let Bolton testify.
Yeah, and now they're at the point where basically they're saying, well, he's king. He can do whatever he wants. I mean, that's really where they are with, because that was always going to happen. Because what he did is illegal.
Sure.
And there's transcripts and there's they all do. But there's transcripts and there's There's Bolton who wants to testify and will clearly break it down. And so it's an illegal act, and he's done millions of illegal things. So have all of our presidents.
Right.
Like I said, I'm for everybody getting impeached. Do it all the fucking time.
See, it's like they've just handed him. I mean, you just sit the surface of all the gifts they've handed him.
Well, you
throughout
know
this entire thing. I mean, the fact that
But
he's
don't we
gonna-
want Biden? Don't we want the Republicans to focus on how corrupt the Democrats are? I do.
Yes.
So when they bring up Biden, I'm like, yeah, fucking let's eat lunch from both sides of the platter. Like that, if they can take down Biden because they can get Hunter in there or whatever the fuck they want to do, great. It kills two birds for me. They both fucking die.
Well, I think that, that's an interesting thing, because the way you lay that, that's interesting, because if this were to happen, and it's very precarious, but if the Republicans go, wow, our party's a bunch of liars, and then we see how awful Biden is, if Bernie gets the nomination, then he can rise up and go, I'm the outsider.
That's right.
Democrats have been fucking me, provided he gets a VP that has a record of that, or people know for that.
Tim Kaine.
Oh my God. We got to cut the stream right
And he
now.
announced it in Spanish.
Shut the stream right down.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's very important, but the more that they paint this picture, and Republicans are painting the picture that Democrats are corrupt and Biden is absolutely, he's fucking corrupt, and they're painting a picture of Trump being completely out of control, and that picture is being painted, and you're mostly talking about independence. Like when I go up to Idaho, I talked to my cousin, and he's just like, he's a Republican, but he's like, Jesus fucking Christ, like I fucking hate Trump, and this is just a shit show.
Right.
But if you can get those people to sit out, which they will, those people will sit out. They'll fucking sit out. And that's what this does. I think it gets them to sit out. I think this is the only thing that gets Republicans to sit out.
Because you're right. The thing is actually, the thing I do agree with, and it is statistically true, is the diehard Trump supporter is not a huge amount of base.
It's not.
85% of the people who voted in the last did it as a lesser two evils. There was a lot of people that were like, Trump's a jackass, but I can't vote for Hillary. And they voted for him. A lot of people forget, on the left, people don't realize that. They think every Trump supporter is some Nazi. And it's like, a lot of people just went, look, I had a guy who's a physician who was like, Trump's a buffoon, but the Clintons, they're too evil, I can't do it.
Yeah. That's my sister, my mom.
Right.
They went in and they just didn't vote for president.
Right.
They voted for everything else.
That actually is most Trump people I know too. Like in my personal life, like a lot of them were just like, I just can't stand the Clintons. I just couldn't do it.
I couldn't do it.
I mean, I hate the Clintons with every fiber of my being because I lived through the 90s.
Yeah.
So the fact that you could pick that person and think that person was going to win it was literal insanity. Like, and I've talked to Hillary supporters since, and I've been like, right, but, and they're like, yeah, but it's the reason you hate her isn't justified. Okay, but that doesn't matter because I do, and so do a lot of people. But it's not justified, right? That doesn't fucking matter because I do and they do, and that's who you picked. You picked the most hated Democrat in the country, and that's not. They said that in 2008.
The Democrats said that in 2008.
Flat out statement.
Yeah.
She's if not one of the most hated Democrats.
Yes.
She just always has been.
They all said that to her in 2008. I mean, even on the debate stage, Obama was just like, Hillary, too many people hate you.
Yes,
it's not going to happen.
And it's like, it's not.
It's like if Mitch McConnell.
Justified or not. Justified or not. That's just the basic truth. And I'm sorry. Okay, it can be misogyny, it can be whatever. It's still the truth.
Trump and Hillary were the two most hated candidates of all time.
Yeah.
It was an unpopularity contest until the end, literally, because the person with less votes won.
And now we have. And now that's hilarious.
Have you ever said that on stage?
Yeah.
Okay, all right.
And now,
so.
we have.
Make sure you keep saying that on
All right, I
stage.
gotta keep
That's
that.
great.
And now we have the most popular politician in the country running against Trump, hopefully, and that's an easy victory because
The Bernie, if he picks the right VP, it will be an electoral and popular vote landslide.
yeah,
He will flip red states, and people will go, wait, what? He'll flip Texas. Like he will
flip shit.
because the labor working message. Because the other thing,
I mean, are you fucking telling me that the working class are huge leftists? They're fucking not. They're just working class in our country is Bernie, and he's really a moderate politician. In the rest of the fucking world.
Oh yeah, he's a centrist.
Because he's a working class politician. So, I mean, Jesus Christ, it's not rocket science. You can go and look at the polls. It's all working class people. That's who most people are in the country.
And you give them then health care and letting their kids go to college for free, they're going to do it.
It's just so easy.
Yeah.
What about his heart attack? Who gives a shit?
It's better
I'd
now.
rather a dead Bernie than a live Biden.
Somebody hashtag that. John Chow, have Sean Atwood on regarding elite pedophiles. All right, I will. Louise Brooks.
Elite pedophiles on CBS.
After the big game.
Stick around after the game at 8 o'clock. Elite pedophiles will be on.
In the first round. The Clintons. Anyway, Louise Brooks. Shave your knuckles for justice, Louise. SNL joked about Epstein being murdered in the cold open last Saturday. It's not going away.
Is that true? Wow.
It's not going away.
I know it's not going away. I just don't know what happens with it.
We keep pushing until they're gonna. Here's what you keep pushing. Because here's.
But are people pushing?
Yes.
Okay.
So the Prince Andrew thing that came out a couple months ago. That was
crazy.
That was Buckingham Palace going, get out there and end this. Distance.
Work.
Yeah, I know. That's the thing. And people were like, it blew up in his face. So they've taken him. He's not doing public events anymore.
Yeah.
That's all the dumb royals do is run around and cut ribbons and fucking pet dogs. That's all they do. He's out of that. So then when the FBI said we're probing, which I know is a jerk off at this point, but the fact that they even are, it's not going away because...
I just don't trust the FBI to do anything.
No, I don't trust the FBI. I don't trust William Barr. That's Trump's guy. He has a history of Epstein interactions. Acosta gave Epstein the sweetheart deal in 2009 in Florida. I mean,
Yeah.
But the fact that the masses, this is a thing the masses are not letting go.
Okay.
That's why I'm like, because of this summer, I was like, when they denied his bail, I go, oh, they're going to kill him in prison.
Yeah.
I
said that. I said on podcast too. It's like, he's dead.
He's dead. That Friday, when they released the unsealed documents, I go, he won't make it through the weekend.
Have you not seen the show Oz? Yeah. We know what happens.
Well, I remember I texted you right when it happened. You were the first person I texted, and you just had like no surprise whatsoever in the text back.
Not even.
That night, when I read, I was like, they released 2,000 unsealed documents for Virginia Roberts' sworn deposition. Bye. I was like, where she's like, yeah, I met Prince Andrew raped me, and I met Al Gore, and I was like, oh, you're done. Epstein is gone. He's middle management. And here's what's going to happen.
I'm surprised they haven't killed her.
That's the thing.
How old is she?
Virginia Roberts. She's in her 30s, but I don't think
she can have a heart attack then.
Well, I think if they get that arrogant, if she dies, then people are going to go nuts. Here's what I think is going to happen next. If they get too close to Buckingham and the royal family's centuries of raping children, they're going to give up Prince Andrew, or Ghislaine Maxwell is going to get busted.
One of the two will go down.
Because of
I always thought Dershowitz would be the first.
Oh, he's close. He's real close. But they just, there was leaked or hacked emails of Ghislaine Maxwell's. I was like, oh, that's the ruling class about to give her up. Oh. Because she's not more powerful than she is. She's really high up there, but if they're going to just start cutting people loose, like it's like mob guys who just like the lieutenants and everybody start floating in the goddamn river if you get too close to the boss. So that's they're going to hope here, because they got to arrest somebody. Right now, the only two people in charge are the guards who were, fucking shopping online when the camera footage just happened to disappear.
I should say right now that I'm a pedophile. I should probably.
Is this a weird time to bring that up? Is this should I? Yeah, that's what I think happens next is Ghislaine Maxwell. They're going to find something and they're going to say, oh, and they're going to try to do this.
I thought she was in the wind though.
Yeah, well, she's going to come out of the wind if they want her to come out of the wind. If the ruling class elites who really running...
Yeah, because she's hiding on an island somewhere or something.
And they'll give her up.
Yeah.
Because that's what I think. If they start getting too close to the real powerful people, then they're going to go, oh, we got her. Case closed.
Yeah.
Jerry Sandusky, it's over. Because we didn't go into all the alumni in Penn State that he was getting kids for.
What?
Yeah.
Is that true?
Oh, yeah. He was getting kids for alumni. He got busted in 1998 and it went away. Why do you think that is? Do you don't think there's any judges involved or don't think there's anything? That's what the Epstein thing is showing us, is how big it is. So how did Jerry Sandusky get away with this for this long? Because he was getting kids for powerful people.
Yeah. I mean, that's what it always is.
Yeah. Yep.
I've seen the movies.
That's the first thing my child crimes investigator said to me. He was still a detective in 2011 when the Sandusky thing happened. And I was like, Jesus. And I was talking to him about it. And he goes, oh, he must have been getting kids for alumni.
Really?
Wow.
Because he knows
how it all works.
Yes. He goes, he must be getting kids for alumni. He goes, this is just the tip of the iceberg. And that's why it was like wrapped up.
And that's why
Sandusky, we got the bad guy, everybody.
That's why the coach didn't do anything, because it's for alumni. Mm-hmm. That makes sense.
Yeah. That's why the coach then had a heart attack when he was in the 70s.
Oh, jeez.
That heart attack gun.
Yeah.
Which is real. That's proven that
Really?
the CIA has a heart attack gun.
Oh, I wouldn't doubt that. Yeah. Also watched my video with Elizabeth Lee Voss about the Finders cult, which was a sex ring where they would impregnate girls and sell their children, and the CIA backed it. This was in the 80s. Fun video.
What was the CIA's reasoning for what was?
Well, the whole thing, and this is the thing we learned about Epstein too, is so this is a way to leverage people. So they would get footage. You know, that's what Epstein did.
Yeah.
He'd have guys come over to his place.
There were cameras all over the place. Yeah.
And so he'd have footage and leverage people. So the CIA were like, oh, so let's go get leverage on this person and this person. I hear that this powerful person's a pedophile. Let's set him up. Let's get the footage.
Yeah.
And also, hey, Sultan, hey, powerful person, how about we give you some kids and you give us some access to this thing or the bombing or the oil or the whatever.
Have I ever told you the Donald Trump, how he met his wife story?
No.
So this came directly from someone who talked to Russell Simmons. So this is 3 weeks before the election. My friend had lunch with Russell Simmons and he told her the story. Because he had been trying to contact Donald Trump for the whole campaign, like, you know, trying to say, hey, buddy, what are you doing? Like, that kind of shit. So Mar-a-Lago was essentially a place where rich, powerful men would just fly in with escorts and get the top.
That's where Virginia
escorts.
Roberts was working as a teenager when she got trafficked.
Yeah. So it's basically just and that's. They would fly him down from New York, and you could go pick one out for the weekend and blah blah blah. So Russell Simmons has his escort for the weekend, and Donald Trump has his escort for the weekend, and then Russell Simmons, Donald Trump, he goes, "Hey, I really like your escort. Can we swap?" And Russell Simmons swapped escorts for the weekend, and that's how Donald Trump met his wife.
What?
And so I heard this and I was like, that's fucking crazy. And my friend was calling it sex castle or sex island or whatever. And then I went and read an interview in, I want to say Esquire or Vanity Fair or something, but it was like, what did Melania do before she met Donald Trump? And you're going through and it's the whole article is like, she was a model. She wasn't that good of a model. Mostly she would just go out and have a date with an old guy once or twice a week. Like the whole article is just very subtly saying she's a sex worker. Yeah, it's really fascinating. So he met his wife because she was a sex worker, and he traded with Russell Simmons, rapist Russell. Right? Isn't he rapist?
I don't know.
He's something. He got something against him, but he got some accusations. But yeah. So that's apparently how Donald Trump met his wife.
Wow.
I did not know that.
So much more respect for the First Lady now. Like and subscribe to the videos,
Allegedly.
everybody. Allegedly.
It's all,
Allegedly.
Don't kill me.
This is allegedly. Thanks for watching. 623 people watching, everybody. We're going to answer a few more questions, and then Ron and this gentleman who I've never met before, Dave, are going to take off. And then we're going to do an interview with Taylor Hudak, who was in D.C. Covering some stuff about freedom of speech and Julian Assange. We're going to have her Skype in here in a second. But these guys got to roll soon. So we're going to go through some more of the super chats. Make sure you hit the like button, everybody. Share this feed out on your social.
Can you believe they haven't killed Assange?
They're trying.
They're trying, man.
They're trying.
No, but I mean, just straight out kill him.
Yeah, I know.
You get a little heart attack shit or whatever they can do to give him some kind of brain thing. It's really amazing.
I think, I don't know, and I think that the private intelligence community is so evil and sophisticated that they've probably done all these studies to go that if they did something blatant to Assange, then that would cause more riots and stuff. So they really want him in court and say, oh, he's guilty of treason.
Yeah.
That's what they need to do. Because if they Epstein him, then people are going to go, fuck that.
Yeah.
Myself.
Yeah,
included.
yeah. They want people to be complicit with it completely.
Yes.
That's why they're doing what they're doing to Chelsea Manning. They really want her to be like, oh yeah, he did help me hack it.
That is fucking evil.
That's what they're trying to. Oh, it's beyond evil.
They're
And you know, had Obama actually pardoned her instead of just commuting her sentence, they wouldn't have been able to do this.
Obama wouldn't pardon Leonard Peltier, who is the most fucking innocent guy, just political prisoner. Like, it's fucking crazy.
Yeah,
And
well, that's Obama's, that's his track record with Native Americans. He said, let's see how Standing Rock plays out.
Both sides.
Play out. It
Both
didn't play.
sides.
It didn't
Both
play
sides.
out.
Both
Didn't play
sides.
out great, I gotta say.
All right.
There's people who want clean water and people who want to just bash their heads in for money. Both sides. See both sides.
I got to respect the sovereign land, and then we got to let Tiger Swan have some work on American soil. We got to let it see how it plays out. Christopher Doobie, what's up? You keep talking about it. That's what you do. You got it, man. That's how we're gonna. You're talking about Epstein. I'm for sure. That's how it's not letting it go because I'm not letting it go.
Yeah, for sure.
I will not let it go. Tisha, thank you so much. Don't you think our democracy, like upcoming primary, will result in an Epstein situation? The ruling class doesn't care, can cheat, and you see power without any accountability, except now our democracy will die. Look, I'll say this, as we've talked about, and the interview I did with Dr. Jill Stein, she said the same thing. The ruling class is actually on its last legs. It's being exposed. But the scary thing is they're doubling down. So
that's how fascism happens.
Right.
I mean, what do you want to do? Do you want to just totally crush the people or give up some of your money?
Yeah.
I mean, really, and they're always going to crush the people.
Yeah. And so the thing that I think is going to maybe, if they really just do something super flagrant, I think that would be the final straw. I really do. I think if they Bernie trips and falls on a stead of steak knives or something.
If they hurt Bernie, or if Bernie dies for the election, they're really fucked.
I think it's going to be awful. I mean, and I think they're beginning to wake up to that. I don't know, but the Democratic Party is obviously, we've been saying this for a while, they're trying to push it to a second ballot.
Yes.
Tom Perez just stacked him full of all these jackasses, Bakari Sellers, and all these anti-Bernie people.
Yep.
So, but everyone's paying more attention now. That's the difference. More people are paying attention.
Yeah, well, I mean, that's the thing. The game is flipped. The internet now exists, and the internet has changed the equation, and they don't know what to do about it. I mean, obviously they don't. Okay, so I should tell you about Clearview. So Clearview is, it was created by this dude with Peter Thiel money and some other donors. And it's the most sophisticated facial recognition going. And what it does is it scans the entire internet. So any picture you've ever had on the internet is now part of the knowledge base of Clearview, and they can almost instantaneously connect you to a crime, or if you're somewhere, they can immediately connect it to who you are. It's like instantaneous, and find out who you are and everything about you. And they've like 600 police departments are now using it.
Oh, God.
It's completely like, how the fuck are we allowing it to happen? But it's out there, and private companies using it, and it's blowing up. And the guy is just a straight up right wing monster. Of course,
right?
They always are. But when we get to these places where you're like, and then there'll be a revolution. There'll be the lockdown. I mean, you have to look at what's happening to the Uyghurs. Is that how you say it in China? And it's it's fucking horrifying.
I mean, like in Hong Kong, they got wise when they all started wearing masks and stuff like that. But no, you're right. No, look, like they've militarized the police. They're waiting for a mass something, and they're gonna react in a really brutal way, and it's a scary thing to think about.
Those databases have like been so grossly misused too, like already. Like they're like people use it to try to find information on an X and stuff like that.
Yeah.
Like it's unreal.
Oh yeah, no, I mean, the New York Times did an article about Clearview. Just go read it. It's fucking astounding.
Yeah. But I want to talk about, we're saying, welcome to the show, everybody. Welcome to Political Vigilante. My name is Graham Elwood. I'm joined by Dave Anthony and Ron Placone. Why I think this year's a little different. I'm very, very cautiously optimistic. Like Ron, we should all act like Bernie's 50 points down.
Yeah, 100%.
But way more people are waking up in quicker real time. And here's an example. If we can go to the widescreen, please. So this came out in the Washington Examiner about again, they keep trying to do this. Bernie saying a thing in support of George Wallace in 1963, right? And they're trying to say that that Bernie Sanders, praised George Wallace, right? So this is the Washington Examiner, which is just a low-rent Washington Post. Washington Post, we know, is owned by the CIA. So this happens on the internet, and they think, oh, Bernie. And so what immediately happens, though, is everybody jumps on it and goes, nope. There's a lot of context missing to Sanders' thoughts on Wallace. In my profile of Sanders in the 70s, I included an article he wrote on Wallace. He compares him to Hitler and calls him a demagogue.
Right. Left some stuff out.
A couple of minor points.
Few details. Turns out the only thing he got right, he said the guy's name. Then he said more stuff.
Oh, okay. Hitler. So it's like here are the things I want to show you that he said. In the subject in 1972 was George Wallace, the former segregationist and former governor of Alabama, who won nearly 10 million votes in the '68 general election. In his interview, Bernie interviewed Wallace supporters. Sanders said he found a certain feeling of admiration and respect for their anger at the political system, but feared that with Wallace's influence growing, their collective rage posed an existential threat to civil rights and American pluralism. I came away from these Wallace interviews with two basic feelings. First, that democracy in America, in any sense of the word, just might not make it, Sanders wrote. My mind flashed to scenes of Germany in its late 20s. Confusion, rebellion, frustration, economic instability, and a wounded national pride, ineffectual political leadership, and a desire for a strong man who would do something who would bring order out of chaos. Why, does that sound familiar?
Yeah, exactly. It's the same thing. It's just like, hey, when I talk to a Trump supporter, I understand your frustration with the system.
Yeah.
I get that.
You lost your
job. This guy's a snake oil salesman.
Yeah.
Matt Tiabi said that, I think it was Tiabi, but said that the best book that shows all this is Hunter S. Thompson book from 1970.
Yeah.
About the Hells Angels.
Oh yeah, dude.
And he said it's like it's been coming forever.
This has been stacking up forever.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the thing. People think like Hitler got to power and just, everyone was down with it, and then we had internment, we had Dachau. No, man, there was a long lead up to that crap. There was losing World War I, there was the global depression, there was all this stuff. So there's even more stuff. Could it happen here, Sanders asked, with the inability of the national leadership to solve the real problems facing this country? Back in the 70s, of course, could the blacks, long hairs, welfare chiselers, and political dissidents become the Jews and communists of Nazi experience? Could it happen here? I see no reason why it couldn't. So what people do is they go, he said blacks and long hairs and welfare chiselers. First of all, he's saying that was 1970. That was the establishment's language for the kids. That's what they referred to. Like Bernie is saying they're going to look at the blacks and the long hairs and welfare chiselers and treat us the way they did with the Jews and the dissidents. That's what he said. So they take it out of context. Oh, Bernie's saying blacks. And it's like, back then, that was the progressive term.
Yeah.
There was Negro, there was color, there was the N-word. So that's taken out of context, right? So then there's even these. There's this clip I want to show you. Then somebody, of course, in this thread finds the speech Bernie gave in 1986 talking about Wallace.
No.
Where he actually
A very, very significant political event took place in 1968. And it didn't get much, I think people who write the history books now wouldn't see it as significant, but I do. 1968, a guy named George Wallace, who actually today is still governor of Alabama, who at that period was an admitted racist. He won international recognition because he stood, as some of you may recall, at the door in the front of the University of Alabama when it was about to be integrated, and the president had sent down troops down there, and he was defying the federal government and so forth and so on. And he was admittedly a white supremacist. And in '68, he decided to run for president of the United States. And all the very politically sophisticated people said, well, this is a joke. I mean, you have this admitted racist, and certainly he'll probably get some votes among white Southerners, but once he gets out of the South, he's going to be laughed, he's going to be laughed out of the ballpark. So he goes marching into Michigan for a Democratic primary. He's running a Democratic primary. And I think he lost the primary, I don't remember. He got an enormous amount of votes. And this was a very astounding phenomenon. People saying, I don't understand this. Here you have an admitted white racist running in a northern state, which was a liberal state or a moderate state, getting a tremendous amount of votes. What is going on? You see, that takes us to where we are today. And it was very shocking. You remember that, Rick? And then the word was out that there were a lot of white people, for example, who were not all that happy about the changes that were taking place in the civil rights movement. That in fact, America was a lot more racist than people had thought. And in fact, somewhere around that time came a study done by, after, I guess, during the period of when Martin Luther King was killed, around that period, there was a study done on racism in the United States done by Otto Kerner. I remember the Kerner Commission it was called. And it really made the point that, in fact, racial feelings and racial hostility, racial prejudice, was a lot deeper than people had, the academics, if you like, had allowed themselves to believe. And I think what began to happen is, as this becomes a...
So there, and then there's this whole thread. They keep going in and out. They go on to this. And this person, here's Bernie talking about Wallace was a white supremacist and won a lot of votes in '60 because of explicit racism. Bernie explains how the Wallace campaign influenced the Southern strategy and led to Reagan's rise. So,
you got a message?
I got a...
Great job.
Thanks, Graham.
Stream's crushing it.
But that's the thing. They put this crap out there, and then
it leads to they try to smear him, and it always leads to, if you really look at it, you're like, oh, this is actually really cool.
This is another great thing I love about Bernie.
Yeah.
It's like he hates women, and him talking to little schoolgirls in '87 going, you can be president.
Yeah.
You know, it's like him on C-SPAN going, we should have a female president, provided they take care of progressive issues.
Well, I think that's the super interesting thing about what the difference between 2016 and this year is all these Clinton people came from Kamala's campaign to Warren's campaign, and they clearly told her to make that attack. And it failed because every person, number one, he's the most popular politician in America. But number two, everyone just went, that's not who he is.
That's not who he is.
So they know. They already know. What they know about this guy is that he has a good heart and he's a good guy. You might not agree with his politics. You might not want to go that far, but I think they all think he's a decent person.
He takes no money from the billionaires.
And so those attacks are going to fail, and they're going to bounce back because, like you said, when the truth comes and there's more of it, it's like the Biden shit when Biden with the
because it happens the other way when he's like, oh, I'm good on Social Security.
The fucking backlash is severe. I mean, Biden got killed by that.
Look at this. I think the Democratic Party could stand a liberal George Wallace, someone who's not afraid to stand up and offend people, someone who wouldn't pander but would say what the American people know in their gut is right. Biden said that. This is about George Wallace.
Liberal George Wallace.
A liberal George Wallace.
What year is that?
This is back in the 70s when he was saying all of his crazy crap. Because this is the thing. Like, and I think you're right. Because Kamala was the anointed one. She's going to win. Gone. Beto O'Rourke, he gone. And
what does it remind you of? Republicans 2016.
Yes.
It's, remember, Jeb, anointed one.
Yep.
Rubio, anointed one. They went through them all. They went through them, and right now we're going through them one by one. And now Biden's going down, and they're going to pick somebody else, and he'll go down. And
because they put this crap like this on the Washington Post. A quarter of 2016 Sanders supporters now back Elizabeth Warren. What?
Yeah, right. I mean, it's just insane.
Find me one Bernie supporter that's now with Warren, especially after she lied and did that handshake nonsense. Like it's backfiring. This is why I am.
Yeah, her numbers are plummeting.
Oh my
Specifically,
God.
I mean, in certain polls, like Warren's behind Klobuchar now.
Yeah, she's literally running for VP at this point.
Oh, she's trying to be Biden's VP.
Yeah.
Because she knows it's too late for Bernie now. I mean, like there's this poll that just came out. This just came from Political Polls, the RCP average. Iowa, Sanders, 24.2%. He's got 3 points above Biden, and he's 10 points above Warren. So I guess
Wow.
he's got 8 points in New Hampshire above Biden.
I mean, Warren was right up there around the top, like a month.
They were
and a half
dead tied
ago.
for first place, all three of them. There was like a point to half a point differential between all three of them.
And Buttigieg, or whatever his name is, he dumped every cent he had into Iowa and New Hampshire. So this is
it.
This is it.
If he loses, if he comes in third or fourth place, which
he's
he's
done.
he's done.
He's done.
He'll cash in.
Yeah.
And you'll see him start like jumping on the Biden train.
Yes.
Because Biden will come in second.
He's gonna be gunning for VP.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. VP, because he'll know there'll be plenty of wars with JoJo, with Corn Pop 2020. All right, boys. Final thoughts here. Wow, I just hit the thing.
Whoa. Where'd Graham go?
Here's my final thought. Bernie wins the presidency. Trump's people surround the White House with guns, like in Oregon when the Oregon Senate absconded. They surround it with all their guns. There's like 10,000 guys. The army has to come out, and a Secret Service agent shoots Trump.
I don't know how I'm going to follow that. I was just going to plug tour dates. I know that's what we were going for here.
Well, everybody thinks about that and whether they think Dave's crazy or they're happy with this. Ron, why don't you tell them what we're going to be going on the road?
Sure, buddy.
Dollop's on tour, by the way.
Secret Service takes out Trump. Go see the Dollop live, everybody.
He'll be a vet. It'll be a whole thing.
All right.
Saving America.
I love it.
Well, February 8th, we'll be in Tucson, Arizona. February 29th, San Francisco. March, we're going to Florida. March 12th, we're going to be in Orlando. March 13th, Tampa. March 14th, Miami. April, I'll be in Concord University in Pittsburgh, PA. That's just me. And then we are in Seattle, in Portland. And then we got dates throughout all of 2020. Go to ronplacone.com or grahamelwood.com for all those tickets. We just announced Richmond, D.C., Philadelphia, New York, Boston, Portland, Burlington, Portland, Maine, that is, Minneapolis, Madison, Nashville, Louisville, Atlanta. We're coming. Tickets will be available soon. ronplacone.com or grahamelwood.com for all those tickets.
I've updated my website. So my website has all the dates that Ron's has. Check that out. See us on the road. We always say this. You come to one of our shows, you come alone, you leave a part of a progressive community, because it's not just a stand-up show. We have activist groups. We have the DSA out. We have local politicians running. You get to meet people running in your district face-to-face. And you get I always say, get involved on a local level. We always say this. So when you come to our shows, you meet a bunch of people that are activists in your community. We have Movement for a People's Party comes out, the Green Party. All these people come out. And so it's not just a night of stand-up comedy. You get involved in your local community, because when Bernie becomes president, after the Secret Service takes out Trump, as Dave Anthony just predicted, I hope that's a line in Vegas, Bernie will need a nation of progressives at every level to back his positions. And we can't have any blue will do idiots in there. We need real progressives. I don't care if they're fucking socialists like they got in Seattle, like real progressives. So that's why it's important. So come out to the show, like, share, and subscribe, and share these videos. Thank you so much, everybody. You're making Gotham great again. Well, before we bring Taylor Hudak on the show, let's say goodbye to these gentlemen.
Bye.
Where your websites?
Go to dolloppodcast.com.
Dollar Podcast.
ronplacone.com, youtube.com/ronplacone.
All right. Well, those guys are scurrying out and hopefully not knocking over any cables or cameras. I will read a couple super chats. And then, yeah, please go that way. Get low. Say bye to those guys. Yeah, come on. When you got a backpack. All right, guys. Thank you so much. So we're gonna have this in a second. I'm gonna bring on. We're We're going to bring Taylor Hudak on the show, and she's going to bring us up to date on the on what is going on in with the Assange stuff. I just want to read a couple. Sparky, shave your knuckles for justice. It's no longer the Republicans versus the Democrats. It's the establishment versus the rest of the U.S. military-industrial complex is out of control versus the rest of us. Yeah. The military-industrial complex is out of control. Absolutely correct. Christopher Doby, MMT, Michael Hudson. Let's see now. Hold on. Hold on a sec. Hey, hold on a sec. I'm still live, so let me, I need to actually, it's okay. Bye. Christopher Doby, MMT, Michael Hudson, or preferably Steve Keen. All right. We'll get some more. I haven't done an MMT thing in a while, and I'll definitely do more of those. I have, by the way, I have a whole MMT playlist. So if you go to my page, I have an Epstein playlist. I have an MMT playlist. I have all the videos that have been demonetized, mostly Epstein. So you can watch a whole playlist on all the MMT stuff. Sparky, go CIA, take the FBI with you. Right on. Jameson Doan, love you all. Can you three do Friday post-debate together? Yeah, we'll try to do that. I don't know about Dave's pretty busy too, but I'll definitely have Dave on the show again because this was great. I've known Dave for years, and I love what he's doing on the dollop, and it's great to have lefty discussions and debates. Keith M., if we go by Mussolini's definition, the government and private industry are merged into one entity. We live in a fascist state and have for decades. Absolutely correct. Ben Tahoe, OG, sustainable utilitarianism, post-internet info age. Boom. David Wint, is a $5 super chat enough for Dave to please unblock me on Twitter? Please, pretty please, with a cherry on top and a dollop of whipped cream? Sorry, Dave just left. I'm sorry, Dave. I'll ask him. Sparky, Hillary drank too much to win in 2016. Absolutely. George Allen, hello, you guys. Glad to catch this. Just got off work. Right on. All right, so let's now, I'm going to go tune into Skype. Aaron, are we ready to do this? Yeah. Okay. Please hit the like button, everybody. So, okay, how are we going to do this? I guess I'm going to take that off. My Edward Snowden Band-Aid. That's the thing. But here's what we'll do. All right, we're Skyping in with Taylor. Hopefully she'll log in here in a second. Right now we can just see me. Isn't this exciting? We're doing a first live Skype on this show. I don't want to get too excited because in case there's a tech issue. We're trying to connect to her. So it's just beeping. Taylor isn't online? All right. Let's see if we can get her. While we see if she joins back online, we're going to do Anna Bird retired. Hello, Anna Bird. Shave your knuckles for justice. Do you think Bernie or any progressive will survive their first year, or would they be JFK'd? Oh boy. I think Bernie will, and I think we've talked about this before. He has to have a real progressive VP and Secretary of State and on down the line, so that they can't do that. But I believe that he will be able to get it done. That's why we have to overwhelm him. All right, so here we go again. Let's try Taylor. Boom. Skype. Exciting Skypeness. It's not connecting for some reason. Oh, this is exciting. Why? Tech thing. Huh. Well, this is weird. Is the internet here is probably good, right, Aaron? I'm trying her again. Yeah. But she's not. She's in DC right now. Why?
No, I found it too, so. Can't tell if she's online.
Well, this says it says now. It says that yes, she is. It says she's on Skype right here.
Okay, weird.
Um,
Let me try her on this.
it says missed call from her. Oh boy. While we're doing that, George Farina, thank you so much for supporting the show. George, thumbs up. Sparky, right on. Putin's a saint next to Pompeo. All right, well now she's doing FaceTime. Should I answer on FaceTime?
Yeah, if you can do it on your computer, then you should be able to. And that's the same thing. Same thing to me.
All right. Oh, wait. Huh. Well, I don't know why the Skype isn't working. Skype sometimes can be like a punk. Wow, I got too excited, folks. This is my fault. When I get too excited about a new technology thing, it doesn't work.
Can you do FaceTime via your laptop?
Yep.
Yeah, she might be mobile. That might be why. She's probably not at a computer.
Well, she is, but she was using Skype on her mobile, but for some reason. So now I'm trying to log into my FaceTime on my laptop, which I never use, and it's giving me a problem. Ah, fucking robots. Am I right, everybody? While we're waiting this for to hook up Danny O'Brien, Shave Your Knuckles for Justice. It's a club. Government prosecutor Maureen Comey, father James Comey, is in charge of the case against Nicholas Tartaglione, Epstein's cellmate. A conflict? Wow. AG Barr's father gave Epstein his first job. Of course it's a scam. I don't know why now my FaceTime is not working on my Apple. I don't know what's going on now with my stupid. Oh. I'll try Skype again. I don't know why it's not connecting. Yeah. Hmm. Hey. On Skype? Yeah, that's weird. It's just not going through on Skype for whatever reason. And then for some reason, my FaceTime was not working. So I don't know why this isn't working. I have no idea what to do.
You're on our Wi-Fi, right?
Yeah, I'm on your guys' Wi-Fi.
Yeah. That's good.
Boom. That's all. We're all on the same Wi-Fi.
What about my Wi-Fi?
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what Wi-Fi you're on. Are you on Wi-Fi or are you cellular?
I'm cellular.
All right, go to Wi-Fi. You need to be on.
Let me go up there and let me go ask them.
Okay, yeah.
It's pretty nice. I've been just hanging out here for 2 hours.
Oh God, go wherever there's Wi-Fi. Like if it's fine wherever there's Wi-Fi if that works. And I'll just read some more super chats and then just text me back. Okay.
Okay, nope.
All right, bye. Sorry about that, everybody. We're having a real serious text issue, but Taylor Hudak is somewhere in D.C. I don't know. Maybe they've got her in an NSA hold because she's an Assange activist.
Cone of silence.
She's in a cone of silence, an NSA cone of silence. That's our producer, Aaron. Sparky, get Dave to help you with your election fraud song. Haha, You got it. Tony DeMeo. Tony, thank you so much for supporting the show. So excited to see you guys live again. You rule. Yeah. The progressive shows are so fun, and come out and join us because they are an absolute blast. Sparky, Knuckles for Justice. Peace is the most, excuse me, peace is the most important thing right now. Krillin at 876. Hello, Krillin 876. Graham, FYI, Daryl Davis was on Joe Rogan today. All right, that's good to know. Where we go? This other one. Let's jumped up. Oh boy, what happened? Sparky, shave your knuckles for justice. I apologize to Dave. Had Assad flashbacks. Okay, thank you for the apology. The dumbass stuff, we don't have it. You can disagree. You can say I don't agree with Dave Anthony or me or whomever. But when you get insulting, that's when that's not cool. Sparky. Bernie became a socialist because the Dodgers left. Yeah, when we were talking about baseball, that's true. He talks about baseball a lot. It's really smart. Dwayne Reed just said, when in doubt, reboot. Yeah, absolutely. Hello, everybody. Stoked you're going to be at the Jimmy Dore show in Sac, Graham. I got some free Assange Manning stickers to give you. That's awesome. That's cool. Yeah. Ron and I will also, we're doing our show in Tucson on February 8th. And then we will be doing the Jimmy Dore show in Tempe, February 9th, and we're doing Sacramento and San Jose in February. And then we come back and Ron and I do San Francisco. So February is a busy, busy month. Free Assange and get him to a doctor. You got that right. I only trust Nina and Tulsi as VP. Absolutely. Absolutely. Max D. Boom. You must wear the either blue or the red shirt. You must declare your views on the bumper of your car. Otherwise, the terrorists win. Vote green. Thanks, Matt. Max D. I appreciate that. Andrew Dwyer. Shave your knuckles for justice. As an Massachusetts resident, seeing certain MA state reps endorse Bernie over Warren tells me all I need to know on who I should support for the sake of the movement. Yeah, that's the thing. They can say all they want and play these. Look at all the endorsements. All those AOC, Omar, Presley, not Presley, but Jayapal. Presley endorses Warren. I think she's regretting that. All these people that, that keep endorsing Bernie. It's pretty amazing. Sparky Shavums. Bernie was a champion basketball player and a 4.36 miler. No, he was a runner, man. He's a good athlete. Kit's Corner. Wish there was a Bernie Tulsi for Canada. Yeah, I know. You guys got Justin Trudeau. Max D. Typo in Super Chat. Who do I call for a refund? Just call Google. I'm sure they'll take care of that. Sparky. It's not Rachel. It's the infotainment business. Yeah, that's absolutely true. That's what our news is. It's infotainment. I don't know why my FaceTime was being so dumb. Try to log in and I can't. Oh, it says it's incorrect password. There's no way that's an incorrect password. When it logs in, it doesn't work. Randy Rhea. Randy, what's up? Shave your knuckles for justice. Just wanted to say to Ron that the line Jimmy Dore had the other day about Amy Klobuchar being in the race so Bill Maher could have a boner was one of the funniest things I've heard in some time. Oh, that's hilarious. Thanks for sharing that joke with us. That is fantastic. What's another gun? Let's do... All right, so we've got to see here. I gotta reset the password. None of this is working. God, this shit drives me absolutely... Tech stuff drives me absolutely insane. It drives me insane. Like in the membrane. I go crazy. I go crazy about it.
show in Santa Clarita? You guys talked about that.
That's a great question. The show in Santa Clarita was a lot of fun. Jimmy and Steph both did guest spots. And Cenk came in because Santa Clarita is actually the district that he's running for Congress, and so he came in and and spoke to the crowd for a couple of minutes and said some kind of funny stuff, and it was really cool. It was awesome. It was awesome having him there, and it was a really cool crowd. And Santa Clarita is very red, like they voted for Trump, that district, and we had a lot of our fans there and a handful of people that were just coming there to see comedy, and people had a great time. The progressive message really resonates with a lot of people because, as we were talking about with Dave and Ron, about how it's labor, it's a progressive message, man. So it's like, it's important. All right, here we go. I think I did it. What's the problem? What's going on? Oh God. Oh, I want to fucking murder somebody. That's what technology does. But yeah, so the show in Santa Clarita was a lot of fun. But if we don't get this working in a second here,
Very worse, we can do audio with her.
yeah. Yeah. I'm gonna scrap this whole deal pretty soon if it doesn't. If it doesn't, it should drive me nuts. Melissa H. Melissa, shave your knuckles for justice. Tammy is for Medicare for all. Co-sponsored Bernie's bill, 57. Not too young or old. First open lesbian in Congress, Wisconsin senator. Only drawback, she's a lawyer. Well, not all lawyers are bad. Yeah, I can't log into FaceTime. I've reset the password. Go fuck yourself, Apple. God damn it. Drives me nuts. Kilkenny B. Please ask Ron what the password was to get into the mansion filled with masked elites having an orgy and eyes wide shut, similar to the DNC committee. Yeah, I'll do that. Roy Boy 63. Love the show and love the West Wing thing. Glad it's back. Did everyone see the Clinton surrogate on the Hill talk shit about Bernie bros, third-party voters, those who held their nose for her? Yeah, they're so dumb and out of touch it doesn't even make sense. They're like lunatics. They're crazy people. Tisha T. Tisha. I went on live chat during Trump debate and posted facts for every lie. They blocked me. Bernie 2020 was okay. Statements like 22 veterans commit suicide a day wasn't acceptable. Wow. That tells you the stronghold that the military-industrial complex has. They don't want that statistic out there. They don't want people talking about that. They just can't do it. It just doesn't make sense to them. So it's gnarly.
She's able to chat on Skype, so I'm trying to get her over here.
Okay. She just tried it. She says missed call, like it never came in. I never got it.
Yeah, I know. It's really bizarre.
Yeah. And my FaceTime, I can't get that to work to save my fucking life. I just reset the password. I'm entering the new password, and it's saying it's not during authentication. So fuck you, FaceTime. Fuck you and your family. Sorry, guys. I don't have a lot of patience for this. All right. It's not going through.
She said, she says it. It's super bizarre.
Want me to try her on Facebook or Skype one more time?
I'm trying it. It should go through. I'm seeing she's online now. She's typing to me.
Okay. George Allen, shave your knuckles for justice. Have you guys heard that they're saying the soldiers have brain damage from the Iran missile strike? They're really trying hard to start this war with Iran. Yeah, it's crazy. you would have thought that we killed Soleimani and then Iran retaliated and just, shot some rockets in. You'd have thought that would have been like, they would have just used that as an excuse. The fact that they kind of backed off is, I'm glad we're not in World War III with Iran, but like, they keep pushing for this war. I don't know what they're, hoping Iran does. Like, they're hoping Iran just like attacks an aircraft carrier or something. I don't know what they want, but it's like, it's scary to watch because they just want us to go to war with them. Tisha T, shave your knuckles for justice, Tisha. Did you see on Monday this when the stock market opened 450 points lower? ABC News blamed Bernie popularity. ABC blamed. Yeah. Well, let's just say that's true. It's probably because, Bernie supporters aren't part of the 1%. 85% of all stocks are owned by the 1%. I don't own stock. Do you? If you're, scraping by $3 a month to give to Bernie, are you buying stock? I'm not going to buy stock because the system's rigged for the elite. I tried the stock market years ago. I didn't know it's a scam. The stock market is a scam. And the stock market is no indicator of how business, when they're like, the stock market's up and unemployment's down, they always leave out the statistics of like, only the 1% own most of the stocks. And, unemployment is down because people are working 2 and 3 jobs. People have jobs, but they don't have health care. They have enormous debt. People are dying because they don't have health care, even with full-time jobs. People are living in their cars with full-time jobs. That's the thing. And the stock market has nothing to do with that. It's so dumb. Sparky, Buttigieg rage undercurrents common in psychos. Yeah, of course. Shave him, Sparky. Tisha T, I meant Trump rally this week, not the debate for live chat that I got blocked for posting facts. Oh, yeah, of course. Yeah. They don't want to see that stuff. They just want to see great America, wave the flag. And the left just wants to hear their narrative. Good for you for doing that. James Doan, boom. Graham, again, fusion is fundamentally different. No radiation, no meltdowns, just plasma confined with magnetic fields, literally completely different process. You ask how many people have died, same as with solar, none. All right, fair enough, Jameson. I'll read your email. If fusion is not, okay, if there's no radioactive waste or anything like that, I'm down. I'm open to it now. Thank you for spelling it out on those terms.
Yeah, it's doing the same thing to me. It says missed call, but I never got it.
Okay.
It's really weird. Let's just do it via audio.
All right, I'll just do an audio Skype. Let's try that.
No. Just call her on your phone. We'll patch her into your phone.
Okay. All right. Let's try this. Oh, you. Hey. So I think we're just gonna. What we can do is just do audio.
Plug her in right now.
Okay, hold on. Are you ready to go? Hello? Okay.
Yeah, just wait a second. I kept calling her. My call's not going through. It just keeps ringing.
Yeah, I don't know. But we're live now, so I'm gonna just do an audio. Can you just do an audio interview, Taylor? I'm still live.
Yeah.
Okay.
Is it not?
The video's not working, but we're talking now, so I'm gonna just patch you in. And are you ready to?
You're just do it right now.
Yeah, just like this. We can't do video. It's not working, so we're just gonna do audio.
Oh,
Okay? Yeah. So, Aaron, how do I hear this? Wear headphones?
Yeah. Just,
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. All right, you ready?
yes, I am.
All right. Hold on.
Yes, just stop in the mic.
Okay, Taylor, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Okay, well, welcome to the show. Taylor,
Let's make sure everybody can hear me.
can everybody hear me? Let me check the chat. Everybody, can you all hear Taylor, who is
Yes, so I am at the National Press Club in Washington, D.C.
Okay, hold
They
on.
are holding...
All right.
Okay.
Yes, everyone can hear you. All right, you have audio. Hello.
Perfect.
Everybody's saying hi, Taylor. Hi, Taylor. All right. So, yes, Taylor Hudak from Action for Assange is here, everybody. Let us bring... so tell us, Taylor... Hold on, I want to make sure I get this off of the screen. Okay. All right. So Taylor, why don't you tell everybody where you're at and what just happened?
Yeah, so I am in D.C. right now at the National Press Club, and the Courage Foundation hosted an event where they had a panel of attorneys and legal experts discuss the legal ramifications of the prosecution of Julian Assange. And it was a very sophisticated panel of legal experts. Among them was Edward Snowden's attorney, Ben Weisner. So it was very interesting to be able to speak with him and hear his insight on this case, and specifically about this new field of journalism, an emerging field of journalism, being national security journalism.
National security journalism.
Yes.
So
yes.
Before we get into national security, why don't you just give everybody kind of the broad strokes of what the National Press Club is? It's not really a bunch of indie YouTubers over there, right?
It is not. In fact, keep in mind, I'm still here, but that's okay.
Say what you can, considering where you're standing. Don't get yourself in trouble.
Right. Right. So, yeah, I mean, this is definitely a place that I would say fosters more corporate media voices. In fact, a man behind me was with the Washington Post.
Oh, boy.
And he was the only, yes, he asked a question. I'm sure there were other journalists of more mainstream media organizations present, but I know for a fact that the Washington Post was here. And typically these organizations, not just this one, but typically they are meant to foster, help, and elevate more corporate media journalists.
Okay. So that's what the National Press Club is for our listeners or viewers right now. And so now... What did anything? So they're talking about what you call it, national intelligence media?
Yeah, they talked about national security journalism.
National security
and
journalism.
Basically,
okay.
Yeah, so that would put you in mind of Glenn Greenwald's work.
Did they mention what's happening to him in Brazil?
The work of WikiLeaks. That was not mentioned this evening. I think they wanted to keep the focus on just Julian Assange,
Okay.
and actually. The focus wasn't even on whistleblowers. It was very specific to Julian. There was some mention of Chelsea Manning as well, because it is the leaks that she provided that are ultimately led to Julian being charged, and she's very interconnected in this case as well. So she was mentioned. But just for the viewers who are listening, national security journalism really began to take its own value after 9/11, and national security law really wasn't much of a thing until 9/11 happened. It really changed our world even in that sense. And Edward Snowden's attorney made a very interesting point, and he said that national security journalism often looks like a crime because you have one person, the journalist, that has to persuade another individual, the leaker, the whistleblower, to provide them with information, thus committing a felony. And the laws right now are very wishy-washy as to exactly what that looks like and what is permissible under the law. And the concerns tonight were that the Julian Assange case is not the case to be setting the precedent.
Wow. So, I mean, what was the overall sense you got from this panel? Did you feel like it was just sort of some corporate media, intelligence community, like lip service or whitewashing? Or do you think they were actually trying to get at the root of this? And like, were they asking for the pardoning and the freedom of Julian Assange and Chelsea Manning? Was anyone saying that?
Nobody explicitly said that. However, I do want to acknowledge that the Courage Foundation was created by Julian Assange and others involved with WikiLeaks, I believe, and that organization does wonderful work. So I want to get that out before I comment on your question. The Courage Foundation is a fantastic entity, and they have really helped some very courageous and heroic people. That being said, on the panel, there was some disinformation that was being said, and that was specifically about Julian Assange and the retraction of names. One of the attorneys who worked for the DOJ, I believe, or a government entity similar to that, made the mistake of saying that Julian Assange failed to retract the names of informants or people in documents, when in reality that is not the case. It was journalists at The Guardian who failed to do so, and a person in the audience actually corrected this misstatement, which I thought was really important to do. But I was surprised that even people who are legal experts were still repeating disinformation.
Well, I'm not, because my guess is that person was deliberately trying to do that and then got caught. That's my guess. Is they had someone on that panel like, here, make sure you sprinkle some of this information in there to make, because we were just talking about it on the live stream earlier today. Someone was like, how come they haven't just flat out killed Julian Assange? And I think there'd be too much of a revolt if that happened. So what they're trying to do, what the American empire is trying to do, is get him on trial and look guilty, so enough of the American people go, Julian's it was treason what he did, and that's the message they're trying to paint, which is why I wouldn't doubt it if a DOJ lawyer was deliberately on that panel to spread that out there. I mean, I'm glad there was someone in the audience that pointed it out, but I bet you that was deliberate. Did you hear any other sort of misinformation that was put out there by the panel?
No, I did not hear any other misinformation that seemed to stand out for me. Now, when I go and look back at the footage, I will point it out if I do see it. Again, I was taking notes during this time in filming this, which I will be uploading later tonight. But I do want to make a point to say that the people in the audience were very supportive of Julian Assange. I spoke with people afterwards. I spoke with Julian Assange's attorney, Barry Pollock. I spoke with Edward Snowden's attorney. And those individuals were very much supportive of Julian Assange and freeing him. And I wish I was able to get it on my phone, but I stood up and I asked a question, and I did say, I want to take a moment right now to condemn the corporate media for misrepresenting this case. I want to condemn the corporate media for not talking about Julian Assange enough, and I want to condemn them for repeating CIA talking points. And I could feel the hostility fostering among the panelists, and I thought, oh no, and then after that, and I said, free Assange, and everybody started clapping, and then it was just very tense. And then after that, they said, one more question and we're done. So,
wow. So you shut the panel down.
This all be recorded. Yeah.
Well, good
but
for you
for
asking.
I had to stand up and say that. And I had to. It was a good opportunity to do so. So.
That's awesome that you did that, Taylor. So what else did you sort of take away from this panel and some of the interviews you got with people afterwards?
Yeah. So also what was discussed was the conspiracy to commit computer intrusion charge, which was the first charge against Julian Assange. And then after that, they piled on all the espionage charges. And many members of the panel were saying that they felt extradition would be much easier for the United States if they only charged him with the conspiracy to commit computer intrusion. Many people on the panel expressed a belief, and there was 4 of them, so I would say about 3 of the 4, or two of the 4, made the point to say that this was a ridiculous charge, and Edward Snowden's attorney said specifically that it was incoherent, and he said that this is done, he was charged with this because it separates Julian Assange's activities from those of a journalist. And that is the perception that they wanted to make, and people believe that. However, in reality, journalists commit this type of offense all the time now, being in a digital age, and that this is something that happens all the time. And so there was some concern there, of course, and it was 2 attorneys in particular that were very concerned about the precedent that in itself will set for other journalists. And then there was also discussion too about mainstream media and corporate media's failure to really connect with Julian Assange and want to distance themselves from him. And they said that this charge was a way to help facilitate that. And many mainstream media journalists saw that charge as like, oh, that is something I would never do. I would never help a leaker conceal their identity. I would never do that. So they were able to accept that, him being charged with that crime.
Wow. That's fascinating. But it's good to hear that the overall tone of the audience was pro Julian Assange and wanting him freed. Did you encounter any sort of, I mean, I know you've done work with Susie Dawson and the One versus Five Eyes and you know, you've tracking the sort of private intelligence and J-Trig. Did you feel like or notice there was anybody there like that trying to be disruptive or deliberately keeping things off track or anything like that?
No.
Okay.
No, not in the audience. No, not in the audience. I didn't notice anybody trying to disrupt anything, not at all. But that's a really good question.
Mm-hmm.
And the fact that I have to actually think about it tells me that there wasn't any of that, because I would have been able to probably pick up on it quite quickly.
Mm-hmm.
But the audience was very supportive. And many members of the audience, I could tell, were a little bit frustrated when that falsehood was repeated, being the retraction of names falsehood, that Julian Assange didn't retract names.
Right.
When he did.
Yeah, it was the Guardian. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So what else did you get from this?
Yeah, just being there at first, I felt a little bit overwhelmed in a good sense, because I thought, okay, here we are at the National Press Club in the nation's capital, and there's a panel of legal experts. I mean, these are high-profile attorneys who took time to prepare for this event, who wanted to participate in it, and who are taking part in this. And it showed me that this is extremely, extremely serious. I mean, I already knew that, but the fact that this event was being held amplified that belief in me, because for a while there, I tried reaching out to press clubs and they failed to issue statements. They said they would discuss it with their sponsors, which were big corporations, and that was the Press Club of Cleveland in particular. And they came back to me and said, oh, we won't issue a statement in support of Julian Assange because his what happens to him will not ultimately impact the lives of local journalists, which I told them that was absolutely not true. And I tried to explain to them in Cleveland why that wasn't the case, and they just never responded back to me.
So in the several years that you've been tracking the Assange case and doing action for Assange and working with Susie Dawson, do you view this, the press club even having this panel and talking about it and meeting Edward Snowden's lawyer and Julian Assange's lawyer, do you think like this is actually a step in the right direction? Like it is kind of maybe the mainstream corporate media is kind of waking up to the realities that if Julian Assange gets arrested, they could get arrested?
Well, first of all, I haven't been doing this for years. It's actually been coming up on a year now, I believe.
Okay.
Action for Assange isn't a year old yet. We started in June.
Okay.
I know I'm talking about it as if it's like a real entity, but we've been around for less than a year.
Okay.
But
you personally have also been tracking this yourself for how long?
I have. Oh, probably about 2 years now. This is coming up on 2 years. Yeah. So you were asking about if I think the corporate media is picking up on the fact that this could impact them. I think that some may have when the espionage charges were filed against him. I think that's when people started to see that there's a problem here, but not nearly enough. And I'm still a little disheartened to see, even on outlets that claim to be progressive and I think do pretty good work otherwise, still repeating mainstream talking points just a little over a year ago. I find that very problematic, and just going down the line, and then also laughing at Julian's situation, that he's been he was detained for 7 years and making fun of that. So it's really on independent media to step up and to not be repeating mainstream media talking points. Even if you're not independent media, even if you are owned by a big corporation, you still have an obligation to the truth, and you have an obligation to not be providing people with disinformation.
Okay. All right. Well, any final thoughts before we let you go?
Yes, I do have some final thoughts, and that is to, I will be, so for everybody that is listening right now, I will be posting tonight today's event and what happened, and I'll have interviews posted, and I will have footage so you could hear what they were saying and see it and all of that. So do be watching for that. I will put that on Action for Assange. And then also, too, do put pressure on the candidates to speak about this issue. Do it in a polite way, please. You will not get your way if you're rude about it. And I know that nobody would be rude about it, but I just want to make that clear that you get what you want by being assertive, firm, and also rational.
You attract more
that,
bees with honey than you do vinegar, Taylor. It's something my grandmother always said.
Right. And then lastly, too, if you do see disinformation in media, in any media, if that's independent or corporate media, it is your obligation to point that out to them. And I would say do it in the same way that you would with a politician. Point it out in a polite and respectful way, and just tell them you expect much better from them and that you believe that they will be on the right side of this issue, because everybody is in the media is going to be impacted by this in some way, and it needs to be talked about, and especially now that we are approaching this full extradition hearing next month.
Yeah, so the full extradition hearing starts February 24th. I believe you and one other person from Action for Assange are going to be there covering it. Is that correct?
That is correct. Myself and Steve Poikonen of Slow News Day Show are going to be covering this, and we have some things planned, some people we will be connecting with, and we are going to be covering it from outside of the courthouse. We never intended to be in the courthouse. That can't happen, and that'll be for people that are close to Julian and people that really need to be in there. So we won't be in the courthouse. We will be reporting from outside and talking about what's going on outside of the courtroom. And then, of course, updating people on what decisions are being made and all of this sort of legal actions that can be taken if this is following a normal procedure and all of that.
Yes, I was hoping to go, but I'm not going to be able to. But to all of our viewers and listeners, we will be, and hopefully we can get Skype to work. But we'll have Taylor Skype in from London with updates from the court case. But one of the things that this pertains to, and we'll talk about this before you go, we also know a whistleblower journalist, Susie Dawson, who is living in Russia right now trying to seek asylum, and she could use some help. She has give us the website and the letter that people can sign.
Yes, so go to protectsusie.com/open letter and sign the open letter. This goes to NGOs and other organizations who can help her and her case in seeking asylum. She really needs our help. Susie is a fantastic journalist and has revealed some really, really astonishing truths about the intelligence community, and has really worked on behalf of the people. So do support her. If you can, do donate if you can. If you cannot, that's fine. Not everybody can, but circulating that link is really important. And also, too, I want to make sure that I'm not seeming to be too harsh on independent media, because I want to acknowledge that there are some people that are doing a fantastic job talking about this issue. That's Jimmy Dore, that's you, Graham, of course, Ron, and also the Combo Couch, too, who has been consistently asking these candidates about Julian Assange and making a real effort to do so. And I appreciate that so much, and it's so important.
Thank you.
There are people that are doing some really good stuff.
Outstanding, Taylor. Thank you so much for being it's our first ever field reporter on the Political Vigilante. This is fantastic. We couldn't figure out the video, but we got to do this over the phone. And thank you so much. And everybody, please check out Action for Assange and follow their Twitter. And they do a live vigil weekly every Wednesday, 7 p.m. Pacific, 10 p.m. Eastern. Check that out. Taylor, thank you so much for taking time out of your day to talk with us.
Yeah, thank you so much for having me on.
All right, we'll talk to you soon.
Okay, bye.
Bye-bye. All right, everybody. So that was Taylor that was joining us, which was really cool. I'm going to read these super chats and we're going to wrap it up. It was really it was cool. So thank you for, please, if you're new to the Assange movement, Action for Assange is a pretty solid group. They're new, but they started taking over the Unity for J Vigil, and now Taylor and Christy from Action for Assange are helping out Susie Dawson. So go to protectsusie.com/open letter and just sign that letter. If you can donate, great, but even just signing the letter and sharing it on your social media is a great way to help Susie out. So Tony DeMeo, I miss seeing Dave A on Jimmy Dore show. I'm sure he'll be back. Dave is just busy. He's on the road a lot with the Dollop. Check that show out live. It's a lot of fun. Sparky, Dave, thanks for bringing up Telecom Act of 1996. Right on. Sparky, again, Telecom Act of 1996 enabled a disaster. Absolutely. Telecom Act allowed too much media consolidation. Has enough been done about election fraud? Good point, Sparky. Sparky, establishment will block Bernie with election fraud. They're trying, but like I said, you're not wrong. They're trying, but the more of us that can just overwhelm the numbers, the harder it'll be to do that. Sparky, DNC fraud lawsuits going to the Supreme Court. Well, that's good news. I wasn't aware of that. Bahab Foxglove. Bobby Foxglove. Thanks so much for talking about all this. Thank you for supporting the show. I really appreciate you. You all come and support this show and spend your time and your money, and I really appreciate that. There's a lot of great ways to support the show. This is one of them. As I always say, this whole stream is available to watch all of it. I also release the audio from these. And then I cut these clips up because I know, everyone can't watch the whole thing. So I'll cut this up into probably about 10 clips that I kind of release over the last week. So I just got done releasing last week's. So you'll see more of this in the short format too. If you missed something, if you watched the whole stream or you came in late or early and I always put them out there. European homelands. Boom. Are you going to do a video on the $6 trillion the Federal Reserve Bank just stole for their friends on Wall Street? I've talked about a little bit European homelands, but I'm trying to find information on it. Like I need some more specific articles or something. So if you have a website or some, just a link, just send it to me on Twitter. Graham, here's the link to the 6 trillion. Then I can jump on it and do a video on it. That would be helpful. Thank you. You all are political vigilantes. Brian Arbor, shave your knuckles for justice. You can do this. Robots suck. We did. The audio thing, putting your picture up, that was like a real news story, like an embed reporter in the Middle East or something. She was embedded in somewhere in the press club in DC, which is pretty dangerous. Louise Brooks. Hello, Louise. Thank you for supporting the show. Did you see Bernie got over 1 million in donations after the dark money attack ads in Iowa? Keep bringing it on. Yeah, they keep the reason I'm cautiously optimistic, and I think like Dave and Ron felt similarly, is the Democrats are just using the exact same playbook from 2016. And we're all aware of it now. Bernie's people are aware of it. There's just, so they're like, we all see it now. It's just very transparent. Dave Rhodes, tech stuff is hard because software devs are across the board, self-taught and barely competent at their jobs. Take it from me, I'm one of them. Software developers across the board are self-taught. That's funny. Thank you. AC, what's up, AC? Shave your knuckles for justice. Please look at this redistricting map GIF I created. My pinned tweet. Try wearing pants. A sensible solution to gerrymandering, the future of voting. Oh, good. Thanks for bringing that. That's good that we know that. Sparky, shave your knuckles for justice. Gen 4 nuclear power eats old nuclear waste. Okay. If they figured it out, because look, Japan just dumped a bunch of radioactive water into the Pacific Ocean. Oh, that is literally the storyline for Godzilla. So you'll forgive me if I'm not just quick to go, yay, fusion. But I appreciate you guys giving me the facts on this. But you have a huge hill to climb on this. Sparky, Pompeo, and Haspel are why Trump won't help Assange. Oh, yeah, that's for sure. Sparky again. You're making Gotham great again, Sparky. Gen 3 and 4 nuclear power are meltdown proof. Okay. I hope you're right. because we have one here in earthquake zones, just like Fukushima. Bobby Foxglove, please post link from Taylor about Susie. Thank you. Know what? I'll put this right. I'll put it right now. Protect Susie.com/open letter. Boom. The Godzilla movies are cool, except for that one in '98. Yeah, the '98 one was. This last one actually was great. All right, Jameson, don't. Graham, actually read my email in depth, please. I will, Jameson. Look, you turned the corner a little bit today by dropping this down and give me some facts. And Dave, okay, I will read the letter. I get a lot of emails. But I'll read it. European homelands, check out wallstreetonparade.com. Okay, if that's where the 6 trillion thing is, European, I'll do that. wallstreetonparade.com. In fact, you know what I'm going to do right now? Just to get it done, I'm going to do this, and I'm going to just bookmark it right now. wallstreetonparade.com. Yep, here we go. There it is. Perfect, dude. Got it. Or maybe you're a dudette. I don't know. Owen Johnson, keep it up, Graham. You rock. Free Assange. Support Glenn Greenwald. Burn and turn. Focus Fusion works, I think. LPPfusion.com. All right, cool. All right. But if I hear about one fucking accident from Fusion, you're going to lose me. One thing, one meltdown, one contaminated something, you're going to lose me. I'm just telling you. All right. There's one more here. I missed one. Oh, Sparky. Fukushima was antique when GE sold it to Japan. All right. I hope you're right, dude. Victory Gin, Dudette. That is our show, everybody. Oh, my God. 3 hours? A little long. A little long. A little long and wordy. Thank you to Dave, Anthony, and Ron Placone for being on the show. They had to split, and they got kids and shows and whatever else. And thank you to Aaron Brungout for my producer here at the All Things Comedy World headquarters, even though this show is not on that network. And please go to GrahamElwood.com for all of the tour dates that Ron talked about. We are going to Tucson and San Francisco in February, Florida in March, Seattle. Woo! Plugging tour dates make me sneeze. Seattle and Portland in April. In May, we go to Indy, Detroit, and Cleveland. In June, we are in Louisville and Nashville. The Atlanta link will be dropping soon. In July, we are in Chicago and Milwaukee the weekend before the Democratic convention. We will be at the convention. I'm also speaking at the Minds event on that Saturday before the, I think, 11th. All the tour dates are at GrahamElwood.com. Like, share, subscribe. Spread the word. The more viewers we have, we're almost at 60,000. Make sure you might have been unsubscribed. Let's cross over 60,000 subscribers before this weekend's. Thank you so much. You're making Gotham great again. Shave your knuckles for justice.